Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados, live here on Think Critical YouTube, having some fun on this Saturday as I'm getting ready to fly out for surgery tomorrow. I have a little bit of what's considered a minimally invasive surgery. I am supposed to be up and at 'em and back to work by Wednesday, but we shall see what happens there. So I would appreciate any thoughts, prayers, good vibes that you could send with us. But this will be my last recording before I head out. So it should be fun.
Wes, what size are the cups on your breast implants going to be?
Congratulations on your transitions, Wes.
Yeah. We're not having elective transitioning surgery. I'm having my gallbladder removed.
Oh, you're
gallstones
into a man without a gallbladder.
Oh, you got no galls.
Yeah.
The no gall of him.
My goodness. But should be fun. But we're gonna have a great show today. We do have a returning Dylan, the real comic book gamer. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be back.
So last weekend you told me to go screw myself. What were you out like hiking or something?
No, I was in Florida back home for a friend's wedding. So yeah, I wasn't
very nice.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Were you in the wedding party or were you just attending?
I was a groomsman, yeah.
Very nice. So you had to put on someone else's tuxedo.
Oh, yeah, I had to put on a cheap Amazon suit, so gotta do what you gotta do.
Very nice. So was it an open bar? What was the deal there?
It was an open bar, yes.
Perfect. That's all you needed to have, right?
Did you wake up in your own hotel room? Or?
I don't really drink, so it didn't matter to me.
Oh, you're not a drinker either. I don't really drink anymore either.
Yeah, no, not my.
Has everybody here quit drinking? Doc doesn't even drink anymore.
I don't drink anymore.
I rarely drink.
I'm a lush.
There you go. Sully's still an alcoholic. Perfect.
A weekend alcoholic.
You're keeping the flame alive for all of us.
It's Miller Lite, Guinness Stout. I don't even touch hard liquor anymore because that's asking for it, kid.
I mean, I'll have a Guinness with dinner, but
just a beer.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
So you were the designated driver, or were you just a person keeping the peace?
That's just a person keeping the peace,
Yeah.
Setting the example, just being a responsible young man, showing everybody what's what.
Yeah.
I can tell you, as somebody from Irish descent, the negative stereotypes about Irish weddings are all true. Every wedding I've ever been to has resulted in an enormous fight and family members never wanting to speak to each other again.
Yep.
It starts with, hey, we're going to the bar to get a shot of Jameson's. You got it. You're in. We got you one. And like, oh God, no, please go on. Oh, Brian.
I've been to 2 Irish weddings and both of them erupted into fights.
Oh
yes, it's not a stereotype. It's a reality. But it always starts out.
It's culture.
Your grandma, or your mom's like, yeah, but your cousin Chris and your other cousins are going out. You should go hang out with them. I was like, but I don't want to hang out with that guy because last time we got into an enormous fight. You're like, oh, that won't happen this time. And the next thing you know, that happened again. So
they're just doing a run to Duncan's. What could go wrong?
This
I
one
told
was
you
an
a large
Italian
regular.
wedding, so it was all nice and peaceful.
I said 3 Splendors in my large regular in my Dunkin's there, kid. This is real sugar. You're trying to kill me, huh?
So, Dylan, you got any big videos or conversations that you've been doing lately? Any cool streams?
Yeah, I just I posted a video about Iron Fist. So, talking about what's been going on with him and how he's been shafted by Marvel. So, yeah.
Yeah, because he gave away the power to Okoye and then didn't want it back because he thought she was better. And then Swordmaster got the power, and he was gonna mentor Swordmaster, and Swordmaster's like, "I don't really need you, Danny Rand. Like you're a white loser." It was weird.
Yeah, and also Swordmaster, the whole thing they like cucked him with being like, so Shao-Lao chose Swordmaster to where Danny was like a white colonist that came in, broke into there, and stole it to where Swordmaster's from here, and he was chosen by Shao-Lao, so he's the real Iron Fist, unlike Danny, who was a piece of shit.
And somebody asked him about Dylan's cat. Dylan's cat, his name is Jimmy, for Jimmy Olsen.
Yep.
Very nice. Did you get into the stuff with the Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig, Power Man having his powers in that what is that Power Man Eternal stuff that happened last year?
No, I didn't get into that.
Smart move. It was awful.
Boy, they
Yeah.
just get to ride every character, don't they?
Yes. This is as bad as you could possibly imagine. And they've got
think
like a
you
Power
mean-
Man timeless book right now.
I think you mean ruin, Aaron. They get to ruin every character.
Yeah.
Also, Emerald City
the good news
Comic Con's
is-
going on
the
this
good-
weekend right now.
Are you
The good
going?
news is
I've been the past 2 days, and something I didn't realize because I don't think they had on the site is Chris Condon's there, so I'm gonna go meet him today. Because I was looking at the lineup of people, I was like, there's like no one I'm really excited to meet. And then I was walking by yesterday, I was like, that's Chris
Jeremy
Condon.
Adams is there. What are you doing?
Yeah,
I didn't see him on the site either.
He's been posting about it all week on socials.
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him either. I didn't see him because I don't know what it is with I think Pop Versus who runs it, but like they didn't have any of those people on the site. Checking like who the lineup was going to be. I didn't know Jeremy Adams was there either. I'll bring my stuff for him to sign too.
yeah,
I've
Jim
been
Jim
there
Zub
the
as
past
well.
2 days. Yeah, I saw Jim Zub's booth.
Very cool. Have you decided to come make the trek down to Dallas with us?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Very nice. So we've got everybody but Doc locked up, at least on this panel. What's wrong with you, Doc?
I just need to confirm a few things here before I can definitely.
Domesticated Doc is bringing down.
Domesticated
our-
He's got to confirm his top surgery, so you can't outdo him. You can't have
Exactly.
the bigger tits
No,
at the
no, it's
con
my
than Doc.
bottom surgery. Damn it!
Exactly. Got to get rid of it.
Listen, if Doc gets a top surgery, I don't think we can get him out of the house. I think he'll just be in there all
I'll
day
just be
going
sitting there
like,
playing with my boobs all day.
"Oh, I'm fabulous. I had no idea.
I wouldn't leave the house. I'd look at myself in the mirror all day.
Hey, I love me some fake boobs. So
Just got to shave, dude. So, Dylan, I'm going to blame you for this, but for some reason, over the last 2 days, thankfully, all the political stuff has kind of died down on my social media, but everyone's arguing about the Watchmen, and everyone's trying to claim it's the greatest comic book movie of all times. Why do you guys think this?
I mean, you guys. I never said this.
You fucking Zoomers. It's got to be a Zoomer thing. This can't be a...
Is Rob Liefeld a Zoomer? I've seen him say this.
He's trying to be a Zoomer.
Well, Rob
Still
Liefeld
got
has
cool
terrible
jeans on.
taste in movies.
No, everyone
Yeah,
I've seen say it isn't a Zoomer. I don't think it's Zoomers that are saying this. No. I like the Watchmen movie. I don't think it's the best,
think
but I
it's-
like it.
It's the
a
best Zack
good
Snyder
adaptation of... Well, I think the best Zack Snyder movie is actually Dawn of the Dead, but I think it's a very good adaptation of source material that would be very difficult to adapt to a movie, but it's too bloated. The Hallelujah song thing really throws you out, and they got Rorschach really right, which is the most important thing, but he couldn't carry the whole thing because there's so many characters.
Yeah, and it's weird how everyone's kind of got Captain America level powers in the movie because Zack Snyder thought that'd be cool if people like punched someone that went flying 20 feet and could rip arms off and all that.
Yeah, but I could think of a lot of movies that are better than that one.
Yeah, it's just because this is the anniversary of it. What was it? It was like the
Oh,
16
that's what it is?
Yeah, I think it's like the 16-year anniversary or 20-year anniversary, something like that. It's the anniversary of it. That's why people are talking about it right now. Yeah.
But when did this consensus happen that it was great? Because it's not. It's I
have no idea. I think it's been like that for a while. Ever since, because originally like he came out and there was like a lot of people that it was mixed all over, and then like we got past that and it came to where Watchmen's actually pretty good. I do think it's good. I like the movie. I don't think it's the best ever. It's definitely a lot to sit through, but that's kind of like the comic too. Like if you're gonna reread the comic, it's a lot. So
if you reread the comic, just skip the pirate story. Not necessary.
The movie did.
Well, if you just went and watched Captain America: Brave New World, and then you look back at Watchmen, you go, "Hey, Watchmen was pretty damn great."
Yep.
It's like the Star Wars prequels have a lot more love now because people saw the sequels and went, "Oh, that's what really bad Star Wars looks like."
Yeah, that's what it is. But because it's perfectly fine, but it's there's some issues with it, Eric.
Yeah. I think Aaron's hit something on the head that we've had so many horrible comic book movies in like the past decade that like now you look back and watch, you're like, hey, that was pretty good. That one's not too bad. Like you just more and more, just like people are doing the same thing with Phase 1 and Marvel, where like when some of those movies came out, they're like, yeah, these are okay. But now with how bad Marvel is now, it's like, man, Phase 1 was a masterpiece.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
I
Thor
need to
2 was
revisit
pretty
Thor:
hot.
The Dark World.
Yeah.
Ugh. Not a very good movie.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
watch Love and
I
Thunder.
don't know where this stuff comes from. You know, fucking Sully was out there like charging with the flag for fucking Watchmen the movie.
It was all right. I like the adaptation of the end, switching the bad guy. Like
Yes, they needed to do that instead of the giant squid.
Instead
it
of the
still
giant
makes
squid.
no sense. It still makes no sense when you think about it, but it's better than the squid would have been on screen.
Dylan, did you see Sully last week?
No.
Calling Kathleen Kennedy like a national treasure.
Don't you lay that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
You were
happened
too.
here?
You were defending her.
I'm not defending her. I'm telling you that in Hollywood is a land of make-believe, and they run their own narrative, and they're going to anoint her feet with our fanboy tears. They're going to name
You called her
buildings after
Hollywood
her.
royalty.
She is Hollywood royalty.
She is
You
Hollywood royalty.
You said I had to respect her. I don't have to respect
I
her.
don't know about that.
I don't know. It's International Women's Day. Hell of a thing to say.
That was yesterday. We don't have to respect shit today.
Fair.
Yeah. That was very, very like you could see that one coming a mile away. Kathleen Kennedy's retiring. 2 days later, she's like, "I'm not retiring." I'm like, yes, of course you're not.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, it was funny the way she said it. She's like, I'm not retiring. I'll make movies till I die. But she didn't say I'll be making Star Wars movies as the president of Lucasfilm till I die. I think it was some stuff that I think it's some stuff they're pushing for, and then they were like, let's put additional pressure on her, and they leaked it, and and then she had to go out there and defy it. So who cares? Star Wars is dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy, they're just gonna, if I can pipe bomb again, I'd like to think that Lucasfilm will be better off when Kathleen Kennedy is dead, but let's be honest, they're just going to put Dave Filoni and his doofus family in charge.
Exactly. That's what makes me sad about this, is we're not going to get anything better with her being gone. The new regime's not going to be any better. It's very disappointing.
But we are getting Andor season 2, man. That's gonna be hot.
Yeah, that the new look they did, like special look, whatever, was way better than the trailer. Because the trailer was good, but I didn't like the music. They did like a special look. Really good. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
It's going to be great when nobody watches that until a year after it comes out, the same way nobody watched the first time.
When I watched Andor right when it came out.
I can't deny that. That's what happened to me. But Andor is actually really good. It's pretty decent Star Wars.
Yeah.
I am tired of, because I have Disney Plus. Do you have Disney Plus, Dylan?
My brother has Disney Plus, so
you have
off
Disney
him for
Plus.
that.
Yeah. So I have Disney Plus, and when you go to their like new things, it's always teaser for Andor season 2, the making of Mufasa the movie, and they don't have anything actual new.
Yeah. I'll tell you what
They don't
annoys
make anything for
me
the channel.
is like every episode of like a new show is like first episode an hour, next one 45 minutes, next one 36 minutes, next one 32 minutes. It's just like we're going down and down each time. And also we got like the one with ads, because the brother doesn't want to pay a fortune without ads, and so it's like every 3 minutes you get ads.
Same
and it's
ad.
like, yeah,
Because all they did was film a 4-hour movie
Yep.
No,
and then cut it up.
No, with the ads are the okay. I'm from the old country, the 20th century, where we had traditional act structure, and that's where your commercials went at your act breaks. Do these ads respect? Are the shows made with act breaks?
No, they're not.
Really?
They're not.
Oh,
They just throw them in there. They throw their like 5-6 ads in there, and they're just randomly tossed in. And it's really annoying when you have a short episode that's like 30 minutes, and then you just have 6 ads, and it sucks.
Well, welcome back, brother. We'll be talking about some fun stuff. We've also got Mr. Josh McDonald returning. Finally, he's got a weekend off. How you doing?
I know. Finally. I'm happy to be here. I was getting pissed there for a second. I was like, give me a weekend. I got to get back to my West, man. Come on.
Exactly, dude. I knew you missed me. What's been going on Popeye Culture? You got anything that you need to be pimping out right now?
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up. I've been in a fight with Disney over copyright over a video, so hopefully that'll get cleared up. They've been really shitty about it though, because I'll get like a copyright and then I'll dispute it, and then it'll get cleared, and it'll be cleared for like a day to 2 days, and then suddenly there's like, oh, there's a copyright claim on your video, and I'm like, what the? So that should be dropping hopefully soon. We'll see. I don't want to release it while it's got the copyright, because then it just gets like shunned off into the dark zone.
Absolutely. That's why I put no video or songs in my stuff, even if they're non-copyrighted songs.
Yeah,
I don't know how Critical Drinker gets away with it.
I don't. Yeah. This is for Marvelous
I don't
Monday.
mean that he's doing anything wrong. He's just playing a trailer that's publicly available.
Right.
But I don't understand how they don't just like crush him too, because every time you put something on there, they just fuck with you.
They do. Other than that, we've got our top 5 comics coming up Tuesday, and then we have our comic book club series that we're doing once a month. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And I had Dylan on recently.
Like the Babysitters Club, dude. Is it kind of like that? Is that what you're going for?
Sure. I'm getting Max. I've got Drew. I've got Jim. We bring other people on. I've had a lot of friends.
Jam party.
Do you have Vincent D'Onofrio as Thor?
I should get that. Give him a nice wig. I mean, he's got hair, but give him a nice blonde wig. But we got
I like
a lot
that Doc just gave us the Adventures in Babysitting Babysitters Club crossover.
Yes. Same difference. I don't fucking remember the difference between these two.
So
shows.
what's this week's top 5 list? What are you debating?
Well, so when we do our top 5 list, it's for the month of February. So it's going to be for the month of February 2022. Yeah, it's yeah. We do
top
each
5
month's
comic
top
books?
comics. Yeah. So Drew will cover the general top 5 comics, which he can't count, and it's never 5. It's usually 10 to 15. And then every freaking month. And I do the top 5 debuts. So we're trying to show new stuff that actually has potential and get that, visibility out there. So hopefully people will pick up some new books, because 99% of the time they're indies. And a lot of people will pass over indies because they're still picking up, Amazing Spider-Man for I don't know what reason, but they do.
I've just always picked it up, Josh. So I pick it up and I put it in a plastic baggie and I put it in my box and then I feel complete.
That's right.
Aliens versus Avengers should be on the list, though. That one's good.
That is a good book. I'm having a lot of fun with that book.
So it's for 2024. You said 2022, February 2022 earlier, and I was
my bad.
Josh is doing a retro thing.
Yeah, I'm like half asleep. I can't tell if I'm getting sick or not because I've got some congestion. So yeah, I probably did say
everybody's
2022.
getting sick right now.
Yeah, it sucks. I blame Doc. Doc got me sick. He gave me internet AIDS.
I gave you the internet herp.
Yeah.
That's right.
The cancer AIDS with fire.
I shared that one picture of that new X-Force Archangel action figure. Little did I know I was gonna get internet herpes from that.
I know.
So Josh, did you get to watch Daredevil Born Again this week? We got 2 episodes out already.
I did.
What are you thinking?
I think it's solid so far. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not as good as the Netflix series, but it's not bad. So we'll see where.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, I had fun with it.
That opening action scene with Bullseye is good.
Agreed. There's plenty of stuff that I really did not like, but I feel like the good outweighs the bad for sure.
You didn't like the Wilson Fisk is clearly Trump?
Yes.
So I have thoughts on that. I feel like they're pulling stuff from comics that was around before Trump became president. I was fine with it because they didn't write Wilson Fisk to sound like Trump. And that's what every retarded
No, but that's what everyone talks about him. Sounds like people that support Trump.
Oh, yeah.
The way they talk about him.
What I hated was the whole Fisk Vanessa aspect. Like they're like, oh, we've gotta explain what's been going on because Fisk was in Hawkeye and whatever Echo, that show. And I was like,
they reference Echo?
They reference it twice.
Yeah, they do.
Oh God, why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
He says something about I tried to mentor somebody once after Matt asked him if he has any kids. And he said that didn't work out for me. He was like, yeah, she shot you in the face or something like that. I believe that was the first one.
And then they go into they're in couples therapy. We're actually watching them in couples therapy because Fisk was gone for so long and Vanessa was left to run the business, and now they don't know where they are.
Well, also because Matt is dating the therapist, and that's how he's going to find out whatever's going on.
I think that's the angle they should have leaned into more, but I think instead of actually having Fisk and Vanessa be like, ooh, I don't know where we are, they should have just gone in together like, we're going to go to couples therapy because this is information.
Yeah. What do you think, Dylan? You've already seen the first 2 episodes too?
Yes. I thought episode 1 was okay. I enjoyed episode 2. disagree about the Bullseye fight though, because I thought it looked terrible. The CG body doubles, the weird haze constantly, nothing being clear. Especially because I rewatched some of season 3, like leading into it while I was waiting. I was like, man, that action sequence looked like dog shit. I liked how everything went down in terms of like just Bullseye showing up just to mess with them. That was great.
Yeah.
But the action sequence was done, I thought looked terrible. I thought the end of season 2, not season 2, episode 2's action looked much better. But yeah, I agree with what Josh said. Where it's like it's solid, but not as good as Netflix so far.
Is Bullseye in his costume at least?
It's
prototype.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
He's got a bullseye on his gloves. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because Punisher's going to shoot him through the hands at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, that's the thing we got at the end. You see at the end of episode 2, you got the Punisher logo tattooed on a cop's wrist, on a dirty cop's wrist.
Yeah.
So
it's
a unique story point.
It's going to be really interesting with this first season because 50% of it, they said they scrapped everything. They didn't scrap everything. They kept a lot of what they filmed for those first 6 episodes before they quote unquote did their overhaul. So 50% of season 1 is the old school team that got scrapped, that got fired, and 50% is this new team coming in and kind of Frankensteining stuff together. But there's only 3 episodes that are completely new, completely written by this current team. That's it.
I thought there was supposed to be 16 episodes.
It's gonna be it's originally 18 episodes. They're breaking it up into 2 seasons now. But 9. They had filmed, they had filmed and completed 6 episodes with the team that got fired, and they've kept a lot of that footage and just reworked some of it. So
yeah. So what do you think's better, Penguin or thus far Daredevil?
Oh, Penguin. Yeah. Penguin was an excellent show. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't really want to watch a show about Penguin," and I get it, but it was done really well.
Yeah, you don't watch it for Penguin; you watch it for the Falcone girl.
Yeah,
she's great.
It's kind of ironic. And too, because I really feel that Colin Farrell was the best thing about the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. So he just had.
And then he was the best thing about the Rob Batman movie. And now he's the best thing. So my friend Marie, no interest in watching the Batman. No interest in Robert Pattinson as Batman. Didn't want to watch that movie. Watched The Penguin and was heavily invested in it. So it was just a solid show, solid mob show.
Yeah, I thought he was a really good character there, where he's completely despicable and he's awful, but he's also trying to do right by this kid and trying to learn to have respect for himself, even though he's got his stuttering disability and stuff like that. There's good moments.
Well, yeah. Up until the end.
I haven't gotten to the end. I had to take a break.
Oh,
I keep telling him that. He keeps talking about like, I really like this aspect of him, and I'm like, have you watched the entire show?
I'm so sorry, Wes.
You gotta watch it before something gets spoiled for you. Come on.
Whoops. Oh, my bad. I started watching. Aaron basically he tried to talk down to me because I wouldn't watch Lord of the Rings extended editions, so I had to stop watching Penguin and go watch those bullshit extended editions that don't do anything for fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, those 4-hour movies. Yeah,
it's more Lord of the Rings. It's more of the rings.
You should be extra nerdy like me. I watched the extended cut with the cast commentary tracks. It's amazing. Christopher Lee saying, "Yes, Mr. Dorff, I know how to do a death scene." Shit like that.
There you go. I guess I'll have to finish up the Penguin this week, although I will be in the hospital, so I don't know if they're going to have a HBO Max or whatever. But who else we got here? We got Aaron Sparrow, big man on campus. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing all right.
You feeling better? Apparently, I upset you this week.
No, you didn't upset me. I found out that I not only have a sprained ankle, but I have a fracture in a fractured bone in my foot. So that's fun.
So you broke your foot.
Yeah, but it's not like one of those things where they can it's not one of I don't know. It's not one of those things. I think I did it coming off of a ladder.
Jim's territory. Come on, get your own thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
I thought it was because you're kicking liberals, but okay, go ahead.
No, it wasn't like a super. No, it wasn't like a.
No
super
way. He
dramatic...
was taking a dump. He lost his fucking grip with his foot, and it slipped and hit the wall. He broke it.
How aggressive are you? My grip? how aggressive are your dumps, Wes?
He
man dump.
This
is really like bearing down. Like
Aaron might live in LA, but he's not a street shitter.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I've got nobody else has grips on their toilet. They can really get in there.
Like
I don't need to balance myself on a fucking toilet.
Some stirrups, you know what I mean? Get some leverage on that thing.
Get leverage. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
No, we're not all. We don't have themed toilets like you. We don't have like Tron cycles that we get on to do our business, Wes.
Oh,
that sounds fun.
He has a light.
That does sound fun, actually. Right? Like that would be great.
He has a light toilet. He breaks that thing open, throws it down, and it turns into a toilet for him.
Yeah. That's the problem with being old, Aaron. Is like you'll sleep weird, and all of a sudden you like tore your rotator cuff sleeping.
I know, right? I think as near as I can tell, I was coming down off of a ladder because I kind of like stepped off of it weird, and I think that I just, that it just happened then. But it's one of those things where it's like they're like, oh, there's nothing we can do for you. I mean, you can wear this boot and look like Spawn, with one oversized foot for a while.
Boot? Nice.
Yeah, so that's about it. But they can't like cast it or anything because it's just like, it's just one of those things that's got to heal.
Yeah, one of the little bones. So you have a walking boot.
Yeah, I'm not using it.
I fucking love it, dude. That's great. Do not walk through LA with a walking boot. You will be mugged by homeless people.
So I've just been wrapping it. It's fine.
Anything else going on? You got any big appearances coming up? Anything people need to know about, Aaron? You got any new projects with Drew that you haven't announced yet? You've only got.
I just finished up my edit on my final lettering draft edit on Aftermath #1. So that's going to be going to the printer. I'm working on a book with with a guy. I don't know how much I can talk about it. This guy Brett, but it's called Vincent Spector, and that's been a lot of fun. I'm working on the Atlantean with the. See, you hit me out of nowhere. I got to remember everybody's name. But the kid that did I don't know how old he is. Russ Leach, who did Only Death Can Save Us. So I did the first issue. I'm finishing up edits on the second issue, and then just finishing up on Kneel Before Doomface. So I got that out there, and then plus I've also got the Black and White campaign is still going for Black and White Volume 3, which I co-wrote with Art Taber. So that's still going. The pages are looking beautiful. Pages on Doomface are looking beautiful. I'm working on a lot of really fun, cool projects right now. So yeah, I cannot complain. But we're getting to the end of Kneel Before Doomface. So if you guys have not jumped in yet and you're curious, head over to the Kickstarter and get your late pledge in because we're getting really close.
So everything's looking up, Aaron, huh?
Everything's looking okay. I mean, except for the me trying to imitate Jim and injure myself in various ways.
Yeah. So what's the word on this table? Are we still getting a table with Sigma Comics or something? Is that
we're working on it, and I'm working on a print. I want to have Renzo draw all of the aficionados, so people can come and get a print if they want. Be kind of fun.
Is it just my logo?
It's gonna be a comic book with a beard shooting out from underneath it.
Yeah, it's your logo with a beard. It's in a copy of X-Men.
That would actually be great.
That would be good.
Well, very good. What else we got? We got Sully.
Yeah. Hey,
Gabba. Bad takes on comic books this week, dude.
I've got awesome takes on comic books every day. That's why people come to me for the sunshine. Yeah, seriously, dude. I said some interesting things about this week's Ultimates number 10, and let me tell you that there is a new version of the Snyder Bro out there, and they are low testosterone and the Timo version of Snyder Bros, and they are Dennis Camp fans. And they came at me and Gabe Hernandez pretty hard. They gave him worse. This is all on X Twitter, and they just don't like us.
Wait, you just said Dennis Camp fans, so you couldn't hold your own against 4 people on the internet?
No.
They have 18 accounts each, Doc.
Dude.
I know, but it was like it's like, oh, you have a problem with punching Nazis now? I'm like, motherfucker, you've been saying this since 2016. Everything's punching Nazis to you.
In fairness, I saw Dan Panosian also fall into that same retarded sense of logic. So, where he is under the impression that Cap relished killing Nazis too.
Yeah. So it's all of this, because oh, well, this is an alternate Cap. But, isn't this the same Cap until the diversions at 1963 when the Maker starts futzing around
on Frozen?
Yeah.
Like in modern time. Yes.
So it's like that was like the highlight of the week. Fighting with the new brand of Snyder Bros, but they're just a lot more soy, and they're called Dennis.
You're gonna love it. I just recorded a video. It's the last video that I recorded and edited,
man.
and it'll be up within the next few days.
I got a name for them too. I'm gonna call them Campers, and I'm gonna spell it with 3 K's and capital K's in front of that. I'm gonna call them Campers. They're Snyder Bros, but more soy.
Yeah. There are Snyder Bros that somehow understand less about story structure.
Wow. Well, activism belongs in comic books. Yeah, okay. Tell me how that sells. Hey,
yeah, but the writer should also have be able to handle it deftly and know how to write it without it coming off as just a retarded screed. And unfortunately, little Dennis Camp and his little mask that he wears still part of the psyop.
He's such a massive dude. Is such a massive bundle of sticks.
Now, I will say that I liked the twist at the end of this issue, because we find out the identity of the Red Skull, and that was an interesting plot point, but it doesn't make up for the remaining 9.9 issues that led up to that reveal.
All I heard just now was that you think Dennis Camp's the best comic book writer.
Wicked Pissa. Bestest ever.
He'll be talking about Martian Manhunter here in a couple weeks, but amazing.
Oh yeah, I will. It gave me paper cuts on my south side.
They're saying that the numbers for Martian Manhunter are over 100,000. They're like 125K for absolute Martian Manhunter.
Sure, but that's what that's what they've ordered. Paid circulation is a completely different matter, and we don't get access to that kind of data anymore.
Sure, they did. No, but tricks. I've got a video talking about all the stuff that they had to do to get the orders for Hush 2 up to 400,000.
But it's interesting because variants. Yeah, a lot of retailer exclusive variants, a lot of trickery, but still 125,000 of absolute Martian Manhunter by Dennis. That's where you start to lose your sympathy for retailers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is when you're like, if you guys ordered all of this, then you're kind of begging to go out of business.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah,
absolutely.
Fighting with campers. That was my week. And I got to share that with Gabe. That was nights. It's because sharing is caring. You're bonded. The purple dinosaur taught me that. We're now on watch lists and we've been bookmarked. Challenged.
Last but not least, we got Doc returning. You showed up last week, but then you left because you were so sick, and then you skipped out on the Q&A. You skipped out on Unfiltered. Unfortunately, people stepped up. Yep. You're feeling better this week.
Yeah, no, I'm doing good now.
You didn't have the COVID.
Nope. They even tested me for it whenever I went to the doctor. But no COVID, no flu. Just a really fucking nasty head cold. And basically spent 2 days in a goddamn coma. And now I'm feeling better.
Very nice. I tried to check up on you, but I didn't want to be too forceful.
I appreciate it. Whenever I saw the messages, when I was awake to see the messages, I replied.
I don't need your girlfriend being jealous of me when we go down to Dallas. Be like,
I know, right?
Why are you checking it on Doc? I'm like, I just want to make sure he's all right.
I'm your meal ticket.
Exactly. All right, so great. We got the dogs going there, but before we do that, let's talk about some Thinking Critical Patreon. And we got a couple of new backers. Welcome back to the family, Jonathan Spain, aka the Sidewalk Savior himself, protector of Alleyside. Welcome back to Thinking Critical Patreon, and welcome for the first time, Bravo Dave number 2, Captain Bravo himself, protector of Ironview. If you are interested in supporting us on Thinking Critical Patreon, there's the link in the video description. Got lots of bonus podcasts, extra videos, stuff like that. You get a superhero name, you get a city to protect, and you get to help us keep the mission of Think Critical YouTube moving forward. And I really hope everyone is enjoying what we got going on over there, because there's a lot of special stuff there. We do have a few things from Peoples. Jagron 2 wants to know, what is the worst Marvel event in the last 15 years, Doc?
Ooh.
Empire's right up there. War of the Realms. Outlawed. Because it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, but you think Civil War 2 is not worse than Outlawed? Since
Civil War 2 is just meandering nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Civil War 2 is right up there. It's fucking terrible. And it was like that was
you can only pick
Brian.
one.
That was Brian Bendis putting on the. You know what? I will go with Civil War 2 because it was also Brian Bendis putting on the world stage how over the hill he is.
Very true. Dylan, you got one for DC for the last 15 years that you think was
Dark Knight's Death Metal. It was awful.
Wasn't it bad?
It was so bad. We got Dr. Manhattan like merging with Joker who laughs.
Batman who laughs.
Or Batman.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's how little it matters.
You had a castle that was actually a Batman, and a cup that was a Batman.
And then a giant Wonder Woman fights the Batman who laughs.
Yeah, that was a bad one. Matt Fisher, good morning. Grand Poobah, Sully, and Wes, and the rest.
Hello. Good morning, Matt Fisher. And the rest. No, we get the Professor and Marianne here on Gilligan's Isle. That's right.
Listen, I will accept that you're Gilligan and I'm the Professor, but I run this shit, Sully. You're not in charge here.
Wait a second. Josh, I'm Team Marianne over Team Ginger. Come on. That's a compliment, bro.
Who was your favorite cast member, Josh? Was it the Professor?
God, it's honestly been so long since I've watched Gilligan's Island. Like I was so little when I watched it. I don't know if I can trust my
Gilligan,
opinion.
Marianne, Marianne, Ginger.
I'm just still caught up on the fact that Sully just said I'm Marianne. Like, come on, man.
Compliment.
It makes you feel better, Josh. Marianne was my favorite.
Coconut pies. You know what I mean? Wholesome. Think about it.
Callum says, I survived a cyclone, and it scares me that Lucasfilm wants to involve Mara Jade, which makes me also angry.
So looking forward to Mara Jade being in
I
the
wonder
new
how
Star
you
Wars.
get from I survived a cyclone to Lucasfilm.
Maybe he's wishing that he didn't survive the cyclone. Now that he's seen maybe future plans. He's like,
So a cyclone is a tornado, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's what I would assume. So,
Well, I'm glad you survived it. Dude.
Twister.
This can be pretty dangerous. We had a really bad typhoon come through here a few years ago. A lot of people lost their lives, but I'm glad you made it, and everyone is concerned about Mara Jade. Are you believing the Mara Jade Zendaya rumors, Dylan?
No, I don't think it'll be Zendaya. I doubt that.
She's in everything.
She is in everything, but I don't think they'll have her be Mara Jade. I could see her being in Star Wars in the future, but I don't think she'll be Mara Jade.
Really? I mean, like she's pretty fit. You know what I mean? She's wicked popular, and she's of a right age.
Popular.
is she wicked popular?
Dude, she's so wicked popular, dude.
I don't know that she's popular with the public, though. I think this is a Roman Reigns situation where they're trying to like push her down the public's throat, and the public is just kind of like either hostile or just indifferent.
Her face is permanently stamped with confused, and I don't think that works with Mara Jade.
Mm-hmm.
But would it work with Revan? Because everybody floated Keanu Reeves as Revan, and he always looks like he's going, I'm confused.
Yeah, but he's behind a mask all the time. That's the whole point of Revan. He only takes off his mask when he's got amnesia during that entire game.
I like when they're like, Revan, what are you going to need? Lightsabers. Lots of lightsabers.
Lots of lightsabers. Whoa. I know the Force, dude.
Dylan, who do you want to be
Keanu.
Mara Jade if it's not going to be Zendaya?
I have no
If
idea.
it's not,
I have no idea. I have to think about
What
that.
about Karen Gillan? I think she would be great.
I mean, she'd be a good choice, but
she's going to be in a
She's Mara
Lucasfilm
Jade,
Star Wars
girl.
movie. It's
She's
not
too
going to
old.
matter. It's going to be awful.
Who said
They
she's
just
too
should
old, or
be
was
her.
it too old or doable? You said
Dylan
doable.
Mulvaney.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Stunning
You
and
nailed it.
brave.
Stunning and brave.
There you go. He also says, correct me if I say this wrong, is Tom King going to passively aggressively backstab James Gunn because we all know why it's Tom King? That's it. I assume that they're buddies, and James Gunn has a ton more power than Tom King and will always have more power than Tom King as long as he's the head of the studio. So I don't think he'll be backstabbing anybody that he doesn't have more power over.
But you don't think if if the DCU stumbles, that Tom King won't immediately swoop in.
Well, he will absolutely throw him under the bus and say it's his fault.
Dig his claws into James Gunn's hands and say, "Long live Tom King," and then throw James Gunn off the ravine.
But he won't get the Batman editor treatment where he totally got screwed over. Won't be allowed to. What do you think about that one, Josh? You're the big movie guy.
I think Hollywood loves to have a scapegoat. So yeah, if things go poorly with DC, James Gunn's gonna be like thrown to the wolves, and I think Tom King is gonna hop on that, like
because he is more Warner Brothers royalty than James Gunn will ever be because of his mom.
Yeah. I fully expect Tom King's gonna try to do something shady because that's just what he does.
I mean, he was in the CIA. No one in the CIA would ever do anything shady.
Oh, wow.
Never.
He then says, I decided to watch that famous X-Men 97 episode where Storm gets her powers back. And after watching it, I don't want to see X-Men in live action at Disney. Is that because it's so good?
So the series itself was good. I'm trying to remember this moment. It was.
I am too. I don't remember the. I think she grows her costume and her haircut.
She kind of does. It's interesting. It was definitely a weirder moment, but I mean, overall, I think
he's insinuating that he doesn't like it, and he certainly wouldn't want to see it live action.
No, yeah, I mean, she literally goes from having her like mohawk hair to like suddenly having her full hair and her like Pride of the X-Men 90s costume just magically appears, and she's got her powers back. It's the execution is not great, but the theme of what it's supposed to represent works, if that makes any sense. I wouldn't want to see it in live action either.
Then he says, what grossed me was watching Eric touch Rogue when they were dancing because you can feel Gamut's anger, and I couldn't blame him.
Yeah, that was there was some stuff in there that was like, what are you hinting at? Are you trying to? Because if you go back and you read X-Men like 275 and you know the area where they were doing this whole Savage Land thing, it's not really explicit in the text that there was anything between them. It could have been a mentorship. It could have been like, a father-daughter kind of thing. There's definitely like a relationship there, but it's not necessarily implied to be romantic. And I think we've all just sort of read that into it over the years because of on the cover, Rogue is kind of like pressed up against him, but that's just for the theming of the cover.
Yeah, but Sully's really loving that Rogue the Savage Land book.
I am. Great Kari Andrews covers on those things. You can't find the A covers at my comic book shop. It's like, and that's the one I want. I don't want, your variant covers do not interest me. I want the Kari Andrews. Give me that cleavage. Give me those thick thighs that save lives, please.
Why are you acting like you're above a variant cover? You bought variant interiors.
I love variant covers. I know. I'm never going to let that down. I'm sorry. Oh,
well, you let the entire comic book fandom down when you did that.
I did. I let these people in. We should have had more.
You bought into the stupid hype.
I'm sorry,
Eric. Part of the problem, O'Sullivan.
That's it. That's what the nun said to me in 3rd grade. Oh man,
Because you can understand Gamut's anger. You should be mad.
I don't mind them shipping. I mean,
my chick.
I mean, Rogue and Remy and Rogue weren't married yet. This is like way in the past. She could have had a fling. I think that just that adds some soap opera melodrama to this. Why not? She was like, her powers weren't working, so she could actually touch and be touched. That's the whole thing about Rogue's hotness. Not only is she gorgeous, but for a very long time, it was all look, don't touch, because she's dangerous. She'll hurt you. Great kind of, great character. I'd say juicy, but we all knew that already.
And he says, what I meant was I don't want to see X-Men, the team, in an MCU movie because it's Kevin Feige, okay? And his cracks are showing, and he has to go.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, I think Rob is right when he says that he's spent. Get him off the mound.
Tyler Golazinski says, upcoming comics this week for Venom is another edition of Angry Teenager Battles Man Bun Vegan, a.k.a. Paul, the most hated man in comics. Still betting it's Randy in the Venom suit and race swap Venom. I thought it was supposed to be Robbie, not Randy, was one of the possibilities, right?
Right, and yeah, the short list of the MacGuffins.
Robbie's the dad.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh. It's
weird.
It's Paul. We all know it.
Everyone keeps saying it's Paul. You don't believe that, do you, Sully? They wouldn't
Totally.
put Paul as Venom.
Oh, I think they would.
I think they would.
They?
Well, because it's something. I think there are little tells in this. Remember, we're all huge Al Ewing fans here, and they're just totally like little tells. Like they call Jackpot the sidekick. Why would she be the sidekick? You know what I mean? In that introductory panel, and I don't know. That's what I think.
And remember, Wes, the reason that Marvel does anything is because F you. That's why.
That's spite. This is a pure spite publisher at this point. And because all of the people that have historically liked Spider-Man fucking hate Paul, that's why they'll do it.
So you've been reading all new Venom, right, Sully?
So far, yeah. What's it? 2 issues?
No, it's like 4 or 3.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, 3 issues. Yeah, yeah.
Is it good?
No,
I read the first issue and left.
It's I don't know. It's the Marvel house style of like that overly digital art, but that's me being an old man shaking my fist at the cloud again, and it's not great. I mean, it supports these guys when you say that Al Ewing is a terrible writer, but I'm enjoying Immortal Thor, and I have been. I think it's all right, but it's my cup of tea. So, I mean, I think Al Ewing occasionally gets base hits, but this ain't it.
Yeah, none of his Venom stuff has been all bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like the best thing about it is Dylan telling Paul he's a cuck to his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was fun.
At least you got that. And then he also says, I also acknowledge Aaron as my mojo, at least till he finds a live action Lexi Vega cosplay, then kneel before Doomface.
Mojo, like the
I think he's calling you Mojo from X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Mojo
that's
World.
fine. Yeah, I'll do
Is
it.
that
Oh man, yeah. Well, I did hurt my foot. I could use one of those chairs just to sit in, right? Those little levitating chairs with the. What is the big thing that comes over the top? What does that do?
Doesn't it like plug him into the? It's like a stinger, and it also doesn't it like plug him in to like his control board or something.
It's got to
like
be
when
right?
R2 plugs into a computer and tries to interface.
Like, remember when you have to plug your video game system into your TV back in the day, and you're like, okay, red and yellow and white, and put them in the right. That's what it is. It's his coaxial cables.
It's his coaxial cable. Yeah, it's on his tail.
Or if you had an old school one where your TV really only took antennas, you'd have to get the little adapter and put them in the thing and screw them in there.
Mm-hmm.
They would go there. You could play your video game on the TV.
Had to be on channel 2 or 3.
Yep.
Good shit.
Old school.
Dylan has no fucking clue what we're talking about. He never had to do this. He's only played.
Living in the age of HDMI cables.
Yes.
That's not true.
Are you telling me you took your fucking video game and you did a little adapter and you screwed the things into a black and white?
I didn't have any consoles, so didn't do that. But yeah, when we had our VHS players, we had to do that. I didn't have HDMI cables.
You fucking just called it a VHS player. It's a VCR. I can tell you're fraudulent.
No, that's what we had, dude.
You did not have a VHS player. You had a VCR.
Whatever. I haven't used it for a long time, but yeah. So we had bunny ears when we wanted to watch TV. My dad would make one of me or my siblings up there and hold the bunny ears in the right area so we could watch football.
That's an American childhood right there.
Yeah. And then if the signal went away when you walked back, you just had to sit there and hold it.
Yes,
like you're part of the antenna now.
Yeah. My sister was always the best at it, so she got to do it. The rest of us would be like, oh, man, we're real bad at holding these bunnies.
See, this is why birth rates are declining, is because nobody needs to hold the bunny ears anymore, so people aren't having kids.
But we used to have to, if you liked the song, you have to record it off the radio onto a tape.
You kids and your internet, y'all spoiled there.
Exactly. This dude's had a fucking iPod when he was born. He's been shuffling the whole time. Remember the iPod shuffle? You guys probably remember that.
I remember iPod shuffle.
I still got.
I could see Josh just having a hell of fucking like mixtapes for people. Like mixtapes.
Oh,
for
bro,
all his
I
best friends and
had
shit.
those huge ass CD cases, and I would make mixtapes all the time.
There's no way he didn't. Are you a mixtape guy, Dylan? Is that how you told your lovely that you liked her? A little mixtape action, maybe a little a special. What is it? A shuffle?
I never made mixtapes for anyone, but yeah, I had a CD player when I was a kid. That's what I used for a while.
But you never made a mixtape because you liked a girl?
No, only for myself. That was it.
Very nice. Galb says, I went to Blueski and congratulated Mark Ruffalo for playing his hero Trump in that stupid
that
Mickey
movie was
17
so
movie.
bad. Mickey 17 was terrible.
Really?
I don't even know what it is.
It's the Robert Pattinson movie. He plays it's in the future, sci-fi, plays a guy that's an expendable where they just have to do stupid jobs and they can reprint your body. And then the whole premise, like it's in the trailer, where there's multiples. So one time he doesn't die, they think he does, they reprint his body, there's two of them. That you think is the premise of the movie. Oh, this is going to be fun. What's going to happen? Turns out it's all about Trump. Mark Ruffalo plays Trump in the movie, and it's all about Trump and how evil and retarded Trump is. And that's the entire movie. It's none of that's in the trailer. But
Ruffalo doesn't have enough testosterone to play Trump.
That's the entire
movie.
movie.
Funny enough.
That's the point. That's what they're trying to put across to you. That you're all oversensitive, like AOC said.
The director's Korean, so I don't know what the fuck he knows about American politics or why he's doing a whole movie about Trump. But that was really weird.
Oh, yeah, because it's the same guy that did Parasite, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So that's what really threw me for a loop. I didn't expect him to do a Trump movie. It's like, you're Korean. What are you doing?
I thought the new movie people were talking about was like the Russo brothers on Netflix or something.
Yeah, Electric State.
The Electrician?
Electric State. I didn't see that because it looks terrible, and everything the Russo brothers have done post MCU has been dog shit. So,
didn't they produce the Extraction or something?
They produced, but they didn't direct or like really have. Or they might have helped write it. They have good action.
I liked the first one. I don't remember if I haven't seen the second one.
I think the second one's better, but they're both very
good,
similar.
I like Hemi. He's good.
Yeah.
There you go. So don't watch Mickey 17. Never even heard of that movie.
It's bad.
Jackron says Bro Gandalf versus the White Witch is dope in Return Extended Edition.
It's the Witch
King. It's
but...
not worth the extra hour and a half though. That's the point.
Oh, it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Who the hell is the White Witch?
Marinate in more.
The Witch King.
The way Bill was like, it's the Witch King, but all right.
I knew what he meant. Like, I'm so used to Wesley's foibles at this point, I just gloss over.
Shit happens, dude.
The White Witch. It's
not fucking worth it.
It's the crossover with Narnia is what we're doing.
This is the fucking problem. This for real though. I had to man a 24-hour position in Korea. I was the mass sergeant at the time, so I managed it. And every time there was a holiday or whatever, I would go in there and work the position. And it was Christmas, and I went in there. The guy replaces me, and I was like, "Hey, so what are you going to do for Christmas? I'll be up here later to replace you." He's like, "I'm going to watch the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition." I get back, and there was an hour and a half left. We worked 12 hours.
Yeah. If you started at 8 a.m. on Christmas morning, it's done by like 9 o'clock in the night, depending on how many breaks you take. And you got to watch the credits too. That's the music.
It's ridiculous. It's too much. It's like I just watched Avatar: The Way of Water. It's like, why do they have the 45-minute swimming scene? They didn't need it.
Look, we CG'd the scene. We're gonna use it.
What is it, Josh? With movies becoming longer and longer?
I have no idea. I think 2.5 hours is kind of like that sweet spot for a longer film. Just put it. If you can't do the job in 2.5 hours, then it should just be a miniseries or a television series.
If it's a comedy or an action film, well, comedy should be an hour and a half. An action film, 145. If it's serious movie, it can be between 2 and 2.5 hours. And that's it.
Yep.
You're done.
Yeah. Look at Fargo by the Coen brothers. It's 99 minutes long. 3 perfect 33-minute acts. Not a wasted story beat.
Not you guys just not like movies? What is up with this?
What? No,
this is what it is. Movie.
This is what it is.
As
Back
long
in
as
the day, If you wanted to put a
Back in the
3-hour
day, you
movie
had
out-
Lawrence of Arabia. It's like 5 hours long. Considered one of the best movies of all
Listen,
time.
dude.
What are you talking about?
Back in the day, if you wanted a movie to be over 3 hours, you had to put it on 2 VHS cassettes,
Yep.
but you had to rent it out for the same price. It was cost prohibitive, so they were fucking smart about their minutes. They managed their fucking minutes and maximized all of it to not put it on 2 VHS cassettes unless it was Lawrence of Arabia or Dances with Wolves. And now everything is as long as Dance with Wolves, even if it's like a fucking John Cena comedy. Get
Look,
the fuck out of here, bro.
Your reference for this is Lord of the Rings, which came out 20 years ago. This isn't some,
Yeah,
like,
that was the
new
age
thing.
of DVDs. That was the age of DVDs. Different time.
Listen,
But
But
also,
things
also,
are just getting progressively longer.
when you're of a certain age, you can only sit still for so long. You got to get up. Well, you got to pee, but then you also have the aspect of like, crap, I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours. Like, I gotta move, or I'm not gonna be able to move.
Blood,
You know?
blood flow in your
Yeah.
legs.
Oh
Yeah.
man, and don't
Gotta
drink
get
beer.
snacks.
I saw Dune Chapter 2 in 70 millimeter, and I went up and got a beer like 3 times, and I had to pee every time. I missed so much of that movie, but I got a little drunk and had a great time.
Here's a perfect example. I think that Blade Runner 2049, or was it, what's the movie? Is it 2019?
That's the last Blade
2049?
Runner. Yeah, 2049.
Perfectly acceptable. But there's 35 minutes that don't need to be in there. And if they cut that off, I bet it would be a damn good movie.
Yeah, it's called Act 3.
Yeah, it's time to start scaling these things down a little bit. And I'm surprised,
like if you
Dylan,
took
that
the
you
Wonder Woman
fucking bought
movie
into the
and you-
system like this.
I think it depends on the movie. Like, I think the Avatar movie sucked.
I think you're living in the Matrix and you're fucking blind to the reality
No, because
of
you
what
just talked
movies
about,
could
like,
be.
you talked about, like, how long certain movies should be. John Wick 4 was like 2 hours, like 45 minutes, and I would not cut a second of that movie. I think that movie's amazing. But in your world, your studio interference world, you'd be like, we got cut 30 minutes out of this. You would have
Oh,
ruined
Dylan,
that
I-
movie.
245 on an
I
action film?
hated-
Bullshit, you're cutting an hour. It needs to be an hour 45 or less.
See, you would have
I-
made that movie worse. You would have ruined that
No, it'd
movie.
be much better. It'd be tighter. It'd be like The Rise of Skywalker.
You
It'd
could
be
have
so
an
fucking
extended
bad.
cut of John Wick that's 2 hours and 45 minutes. long.
Exactly, for the
Then
fucking
you don't
nerds
get
that
to
want to go to the
experience it
Alamo
in the
Draft House.
theater.
I'd have cut John Wick at 4 entirely. Hated that movie.
That's insane. John Wick 4 is amazing.
I was gonna say I could have cut 20 minutes from John Wick 4. Just get rid of that scene where he's falling down the stairs. Save
That's
20
one of
minutes
the
right
best
there.
Well,
scenes in the movie.
Come on.
You guys
Come on.
are
That is a,
crazy.
I don't care that he's John Wick. That is a man in his 50s. If he sat down on his keys, he'd be disabled for an hour.
Okay. Also,
This guy's been
I'm
hit by multiple cars. He's flown off of things and landed on concrete, and then he rolls down 200 stairs. That guy's not getting up. I don't care how much I have to suspend disbelief. He's not getting up.
that's the thing that breaks it for you, is him going down some stairs.
Well, no, also just the holding the little jacket as bulletproof, a bulletproof thing to hide
that's
behind.
sick.
Okay. The bullet doesn't hit that little thin fabric, whatever it's made of, and stop. That doesn't happen. It
Also,
pushes-
no
it
one's
pushes the
with
plot
them,
of-
No one's gonna kill a room full of 10 people by themselves when they're all looking at them. I hate to break that to you as well. There's a lot of unrealistic stuff in this movie, but I'm
But it
not
just-
going to
it goes-
John Wick for realism.
It goes too far for me in John Wick 4. And you know what? You could also cut 20 minutes out by just cutting out every time he goes, John, or, every time Donnie Yen goes, John, and then John addresses his character by name. They do that repeatedly. And it's
Yeah,
just
they
like,
do.
okay.
That stuff's great. You guys just don't like movies.
I
Yeah,
love movies.
you guys are like Zoomers that need your TikToks where it's like, oh, I'll watch this movie in 5-minute increments when it's broken up to 186 parts. That's what you guys are like.
Remember,
Like
there
a
was an
bunch of
app that
Zoomers right here.
Remember, there was an app that did that, and they thought that was going to be really successful.
Yes,
It's just
Yeah.
movies in 5-minute increments.
by
Can't remember what it was,
professional
though.
actors and movie makers. Yeah. All right. Calvin says Marvel Rivals is not Overwatch. Trust me.
I will.
I don't know what that
I'm
means.
not
but
playing
I don't-
Marvel Rivals. Is it Overwatch?
Is
It's not
it a ripoff of Overwatch? Is it like the X-Men skin that you could put on Doom back in the day?
Maybe.
You could put an X-Men skin on Doom? How did I miss that?
You didn't see that? Oh shit!
No.
Wow.
Calvin says, and lastly, can someone explain that boring Doom Empire comic, please? Because it's so boring, I could use it as toilet paper. I'm assuming this is one
Wouldn't
more
use
under
it as-
Doom.
Yeah.
If you didn't like that one, don't read Fantastic Four. It's worse.
Yeah.
You made me read Fantastic Four. and I'm still mad about
Exactly.
how
Doc read it too. and
Yeah,
he didn't
I
even
read
review
it, and I didn't even have get to review it.
Doc
I
got
got
more
sick.
sick.
Yeah, it may be. I'm blaming One World Under. I'm blaming Ryan North for getting me sick.
He gave you the hurt.
He gave me digital AIDS.
That's
Yeah.
how I hurt my foot, actually. Because after I read that, I had to go kick rocks for like an hour.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Not a good book.
it is actually viral.
Oh, and guess what, guys? Guess what? The villain is Trump. The villain's Trump. We haven't seen that before. They're gonna make Dr. Doom Trump.
Yeah. Jagger 2. Today, Disney is selling Mara Jade's lightsaber for $325, limited this morning. Their IP people dislike, so let's burn old stuff while we can.
Godspeed.
Ooh,
A lot of those lightsabers end up at Ross.
I heard a
Dolly.
good one. It should be because since we can respect the Legends canon and the new canon at once by just repackaging Luke's Anakin Skywalker's like lightsaber because Mara Jade has that lightsaber and so does Rey. So we can get it all in one swoop. You just have to turn the box upside down. Oh, it's my Rey
Dylan,
saber.
you're a big Star Wars guy still. Are you dropping $325 on a Mara Jade lightsaber?
No,
On
Yeah,
any
care less.
lightsaber?
no, I'm not dropping 320. I paid $100 for my Obi-Wan lightsaber. Not paying more than that.
So there is a number.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone tried to sell me an Emperor Palpatine lightsaber at ConnecticCon a couple of years ago, and he wanted $900 for it. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. But it was beautiful. It was that Palpatine hilt with the horn at the end, and it's gilded. Oh, God, sign me up.
I think playing lightsabers means something completely different for me than other people. So
Yeah, because it's tummy sticks for you, dude.
oh,
So, Dylan, would you go a hundy on a Mara Jade lightsaber, or is it just an Obi-Wan?
I don't care enough about Mara Jade to spend $100 on a Mara Jade lightsaber.
Do you care enough about lightsabers to buy another lightsaber?
At this point, no. I got my Obi-Wan. That's my favorite. So they've killed Star Wars enough. I probably don't really care to get another one.
Yeah.
Dude, I would
Friends don't let friends
totally
spend
play
money on
lightsabers
Star
with
Wars.
you.
We could do it at Texas, dude. Have a big
Yeah,
bat-
gotta give you a
seriously,
lightsaber.
big battle.
If prior fan expos, there'll be like 4 of each kind of vendor and
Yep.
different quadrants of the con. You will get opportunities to buy lightsabers. There are like
Yep.
3 or 4 lightsaber vendors as well. I mean, like so they're everywhere. Yeah.
My kids better not see that. That'll be
oh, they'll
expensive.
see it
Although
because
and then
one's got them like way up high on the they
Mhm.
have high like walls.
yeah.
And they've got them on the outside lit up.
Yep.
Like,
And a
yeah.
big thing, Wes, too, is like like foam swords, like the anime style swords, anime style sidearms. I mean, exquisite detail.
That sounds like LARPing swords to me, dude.
But that's huge. I mean, these vendors are like on each quadrant of the con, and it's like big, beautiful, like samurai swords. You can get your Kill Bill swords, dude.
You know what would scare me is though if there's lots of dinosaurs, because my 3-year-old at this point in his life refuses to walk away from a dinosaur without us buying it for him.
Okay.
I don't remember
I
seeing
don't
a
like
lot of
dinosaurs
dinosaur
there.
stuff. So
Yeah.
Good,
I think you should be okay.
Right.
hopefully. He's so obsessed with dinosaurs. I don't get it, but I mean, dinosaurs are cool. I get that, but it gets to be a bit much.
You'll have a photo op with the Jurassic Park Jeep.
I was
That's
gonna
cool.
say, however, that new Jurassic Park movie's coming out this summer, so maybe
Oh, he will lose his little mind. He loves Jurassic World. They have the
Yeah.
best toys. Man. So I guess we should get into our main topic. Oh, wait, no, we won't. Callum says also recent Invincible episode was awesome. Is that true, Doc? Doc, are you there?
Yeah. No.
Was the
I-
recent
I-
episode of Invincible awesome?
I liked it. I expected the Invincible War to last a little longer than like one episode, but it was a longer episode. It was like a full 50 minutes. So it was good. I enjoyed it. I was just hoping for, I don't know, a little more in the Invincible War. I expected that to go longer. You know, to spoil, you know, R.I.P. Rexplode. But yeah, no, it was a good episode. I love this series. I think that they could have expanded a little bit more and let it breathe a little bit more, and it still be good. There was one part really early on in the episode didn't seem to make sense. It's like they cut a scene out or something where when Invincible was getting his ass kicked by Brit's team, and then they suddenly teamed up, like that scene where they actually realized that this Invincible is like our Invincible's the real one and not one of the many multiversal Invincibles. Like they kind of skipped the part where they realized that, and then just suddenly they're on the same side and the fight's over already. So it feels like they skipped something, but no, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Very nice. Well, getting into their conversation, I was thinking about things that we could have a good little fun, heated debate about. And I thought, you know, everyone says that comic book events are dead. That means that some event had to kill it over time. And I think everyone will have their own perspective. We got a couple of DC guys. We got some Marvel zombies. We got Sully, who basically loves everything. He probably thinks comic book events are alive and well.
Oh, yeah. Like X-Men Hunt. Wow.
Exactly.
Hubba.
It's absolutely amazing this week. So, Doc, you are the X-Men historian, the Marvel guy. Do you think there is a specific comic book event that just killed the concept or the ability for people to really buy into events moving forward after that?
Unfortunately, yes. And it was a good one. And it's Civil War. And the reason that I say that is because almost every event since then has been trying to replicate the success of that. Yeah. And as a result, you end up they're always either hero versus hero events. They're spreading across the entire line. There is no, there's nowhere to escape from it. Every book ties into it. And it goes forever. So I think that Civil War, unfortunately, is the event that killed events, because it was the high watermark, both creatively and commercially successful, that everything else has failed and paled in comparison to. And as a result, they're still stuck trying to outdo that. They won't give up trying to outdo it either. And because the hero versus hero event worked so well, they won't give that up either. And 90% of their events are just that now. Or as well as the everybody knows everybody. That was the other thing that it kind of introduced. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody has everybody's fucking phone number since Civil War. There's no, I don't really know that guy. I don't trust him. Fuck him. There's none of that anymore. Everybody's besties with fucking everybody. It's annoying.
That's a good way to put it, too. And Civil War broke the Marvel Universe, too. I mean, we're still recovering from that. How? I mean, that's where Peter outed himself in a secret identity. And that's what broke Spider-Man. We're still suffering from that in the Spider-Man story. I mean, that's the genesis of the whole one more day shit. I mean, good call.
Yeah. I mean, you broke Spider-Man with it. You ended up breaking the X-Men because of it. You ended up with. I mean, I could also argue that AVX was that as well, because it fundamentally broke the Marvel Universe. But again, we come back to Civil War. If it wasn't for the success of Civil War, they don't do AVX. the way that they did, that then fundamentally destroys the X-Men and the rest of the Marvel universe, with just them turning into every character's a legacy character as a result of AVX and the Marvel Now era that occurred as the follow-up to AVX.
Yeah.
Where everybody's a fucking Avenger. That's the other problem with Civil War. Everyone became an Avenger as a result. You ended up with 2 different Avengers teams. Then you ended up with Avengers Academy, the 50 State Initiative. All that stuff is the consequences of Civil War.
I think too, just even looking outside of the story aspect, I feel like Civil War was the start, and I think you kind of mentioned this, alluded to this earlier, Doc. But Civil War, I think that was the start of Marvel then trying to do a yearly, like, line-wide crossover every year. Like, before, when we look at our event stories, they were usually kind of event stories self-contained within that character's narrative, and there might be like a small like flare out that hit other characters. But this was like everyone's coming together to stop this big or deal with this big thing. And then when you start repeating that every year, it loses its importance. Like,
100%. Everything is now an attempt to replicate that success, but also to outdo the scope. It becomes almost event creep. They went huge with Civil War. Now, they did it while actually having a talented roster of creatives. And it was the culmination of a number of years of storytelling. Now, that right after that is when you started the, Secret War, the Secret Invasion, the Dark Reign.
You gave Bendis events, and Bendis could come up with. He was good at coming up with concepts for events that sounded exciting and had promise, but he could never stick the landing. Dark Reign gave you that image of here's the Avengers versus the Dark Avengers and everybody pairing off, and you never really got that payoff. You never saw Hawkeye fight, Bullseye as Hawkeye. You never saw, like those face-offs never happened, and that was the promise that the ad gave you. Secret Invasion, hey, everybody might be a Skrull. And that was pretty exciting. And then it turned out now just some characters you weren't too invested in were Skrulls.
And
if they would have said, because when they showed that Elektra was a Skrull, I was like, oh shit, are they going to say that Elektra's been dead this whole time and every appearance of Elektra after Frank Miller's run has been a Skrull? That's cool. Yeah. No, that wasn't the case. And then you get to the end, and what's the end plot? Oh, we'll blow up the Wasp. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that's a great finale. Even the finale to Siege, which Siege had a great build-up. Yeah. One of the most stunning moments that I remember in comics and as an adult is turning that page and seeing Ares just get ripped apart by half.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes after I read that, I got a call from Jesse Snyder going, "Have you read Siege yet?" That's how big that moment was.
Yeah, that was
and then how does it end? Oh, we dropped a helicarrier on him. And
welcome to the heroic age, Aaron. Ooh.
And Peter Parker told Norman Osborn, "F you." It's like, oh, okay, thanks. Bendis never knew how to end an event, and it's actually a Bendis event that got me to walk away from monthly comic buying as a regular, which I had done for years and years since I was 16. I'd been buying comics every week at the comic book shop, and I've told this story before, but I was sitting on the floor reading my comics like I would. I'd get my stack of books and I'd sit down, and my friend Marie was watching TV, and she goes, "I was watching you." She goes, "And you were getting like increasingly frustrated as you were reading." She goes, "I could tell it was just kind of like radiating off of you." She goes, "And then you let out this long sigh and you closed the book and you put it back in plastic." And I said, "What's the matter?" And you said, "I don't enjoy this anymore." And you put the comic down on the stack and you got up and you left the room and you didn't come back for like an hour. And she goes, "You go back to your comics." And I was like, yeah, that was the last week that I was reading monthly comics, and going and buying every week. And it was because of Civil War 2 and how much I hated that series. I was reading it and I was like, Carol Danvers is a villain. She's not being treated as a villain. And there will be no comeuppance for this because Carol Danvers is wonderful. So the fact that she is, locking people up without due process. She is actually becoming the literal definition of a fascist, and everybody's cheering it. I was like, the morality of comics is gone, and I don't enjoy it anymore.
Well, you also had that on with Civil War I with, in my opinion, them. I don't know if it's necessarily not knowing how to finish it or being scared to finish it. And because the way that Civil War ends with Cap just saying, okay, I quit.
Mm-hmm. We're winning everything except the argument.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was it was a cop-out. Because the proper way to end something of that scope is that the result of Cap versus Iron Man and the Avengers splitting like that, the hero community splitting like that, there are so many people outright ignoring the law and the will of the government, is the government falls. Because everyone loses faith, that it actually... How does a government have power? Through the will of the consent of the governed. When they see that you could just say, fuck you, I'm not doing it, on a mass scale, and a mass scale does, you undermine your entire order. And that's how it should have ended, with Cap and Iron Man looking around, seeing that the entire fucking government has now fallen. That there's no more faith in the institutions of America, and realized that they fucking did that shit. Their public pissing match over policy caused that. And then then your follow-up to that isn't, Cap getting arrested and then getting shot and dying and having his time bullet. It's them spending the next couple of years trying to rebuild the American faith in its own, governmental system. That's how you end something like that. And ever since then, they haven't gone to the logical result of their events, and they've copped out at like 80% and then just to reset back to default.
Yeah. Art Taber's in the chat. He said DC's New 52 broke him. Ooh. And I will say I stuck with New 52 for a little while. Like, I checked out all the books, but within 6 months I was mostly out, and I never went back to being that big of a DC buyer ever again. So, it's another one of those events where they changed everything up and they broke me of the habit of being invested in the characters. Characters were all different for the most part, except for Batman and Green Lantern, because somehow those continuities need to keep going, but everybody else gets erased and rejumbled. And then you start asking questions like, well, wait a minute. If Superman is all different now, if none of that stuff in Superman happened, how did Blackest Night happen? Because he was involved in Blackest Night. And you start asking all these questions about the continuity that's been kept, and nothing makes sense anymore. And they just try to gloss over it until they reboot again. How do you stay invested in something like that? It was really easy to get out.
Was that the big initiative or event for you, Dylan? Is it New 52?
The one that ruined it for me was the whole debacle with Doomsday Clock and then Dark Knight's Death Metal, and also we had Leviathan. Too many cooks in the kitchen. That was terrible. I love Doomsday Clock, but they didn't respect it because it got delayed too much, so they just got everyone in there, and it was terrible. That's what ruined it. After that, I haven't.
Was in Leviathan Bendis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, here he is again.
But that he was doing that, but he also put forward the Year of Evil or whatever it was.
Forever Evil.
You're the villain?
No, Year of the Villain. That's
That's
what
Snyder.
It was. They did too much at once, but you had two egos going at it. You had what Jeff Johns had set up, and then Dylan's right. You had delays, which was on Frank. I think Frank was having health issues and couldn't finish his books on time. So then they're like, well, we got to do something. And then you had Scott Snyder and his ego, and then Brian Michael Bendis and his ego fighting for who was going to be, biggest dick in the room. And then they both failed miserably.
Yep. That was sad. That because Doomsday Clock was so good, and they just didn't respect what was done with it. And
if you want to be If you want to be the biggest dick in the room, you have to not be afraid of Heather Ontos.
Woohoo! But that's kind of the thing with, I think the problem with Marvel events and DC events are really different. It's hard to buy into a DC event because within the next 4 months, it might not even matter anymore.
Right.
They might just wipe it out.
Yeah.
But Aquaman has Mara's powers now, so that event was huge. Some people switch powers.
Fire and Ice have switched their powers, and Julian Star is going to have fun with it.
Absolute power had so many consequences.
Oh my gosh, I forgot we have the Fartacular still coming. That's going to be
the Fartacular's on her way. Yay!
But yeah, Doomsday Clock was amazing, and the weird thing is it was out of continuity by the time it ended.
Yeah.
Well,
even though it was a much better continuity than Death Metal.
Yeah,
no, we're gonna go with Death Metal. It's edgy and cool.
That was their easy way out, though, because remember, Doomsday Clock was supposed to be, just a little bit in the future, and everything we were getting in Rebirth was taking place before it, and then they were going to jump all the titles ahead to land where Doomsday Clock ended. So I, even from a publisher standpoint, I understand that they had to do something because they were kind of spinning their wheels, and like it's when you're stalling, and Rebirth kind of started taking a little, wobbly, little fumble, and then they just shit the bed when they're brought out. Yeah,
I know. Sully, Heroes in Crisis was the moment you stopped being a regular reader for several years.
Yeah, for several years. But it's killed at the event. Okay. DC's countdown to Final Crisis was huge for me because it was such a disappointment. Now, the previous year, you had the weekly 52, which was amazing that they could pull that off, that the amount of talent that was thrown at that. Then a year later, they try to replicate that. Now, I'm in on every issue, every tie-in. I'm going to my store every week, and I love crisis stories. And I really liked Grant Morrison's Final Crisis overall because that was him doing Kirby and the New Gods, and he can pull that off. But on the way to Final Crisis, you had Countdown, and then it changed its name to Countdown to Final Crisis. But the thing was, with the tie-ins and with the weekly and getting every single issue and every tie-in, none of that mattered. None of that lead up. There was no setup to payoff in the Final Crisis book. It was all fluff. It was useless. It was a waste of money. I have them sitting in my short boxes. I saw them a couple of years ago and I'm rebagging, and I'm like, I have no urge to reread these because they're pointless stories. They don't add anything, especially to what it's leading to, the Final Crisis. So yeah, and that gave me a huge event. Dwayne Muth just said it, event fatigue. That was
just way too big now.
So that countdown to Final Crisis, that was a big one for me, but still I bought every issue of Blackest Night because that ended up being, I was a Green Lantern reader. Jeff Johns did 4 years of setup to that payoff. So that was a good event, but
that's the last great event to me.
One of them. Yeah. And I think that something such as I think that Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars from Marvel, what a missed opportunity.
He totally pussed out.
He totally did. It could have just reset the Marvel universe. I think, it kind of needs it. And, that's just my opinion. I know other people's opinions will vary, and that's cool. But and it was this identical story going on over at DC as well. In 2015, they did Convergence, this battle world thing with battle cities. And it was the same idea. You have 2 volcano movies or 2 asteroid impact movies, that same diff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hickman's Secret Wars was another example of the publisher pussing out.
Yeah.
Now, I can absolutely argue that they made the right choice pussing out. In the long term, while Marvel Universe needs a reset, it will kill itself as a result. Same way that DC doing a full reset, will also kill itself. It is both necessary and suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once you teach people, which certainly DC has taught fans or their customers, is you don't need to buy into this too much. If you don't like it, don't take it personally, because we'll just wipe it out in 24 months.
Yeah.
If you love it, don't buy into it too much, because in 24 months, this might not have even happened. Whereas at least over at Marvel, you got to take the good with the bad. You if you don't like One More Day, you have to fucking hate it, because we aren't going to wipe this stuff out. And
Yeah.
it's like two weird like dichotomies.
Yeah, the unfortunately the problem with interconnected comic universes is over time they become unwieldy and they need a reset. But the thing that gets people to buy in at such a great high level is the level of intricacy and interconnectedness. So when you eliminate it, you also eliminate the thing that kept them there in the first place. That's where you run into the catch-22.
Man, a lot of people are sitting there and disagree with you, Dylan, on Dark Knight's death metal, but I completely agree with you. That was just all the leftover ideas from Dark Knight's metal that they wouldn't put in there because they weren't good enough. They're like, fuck it, let's do it anyway.
There's so much shit they threw in there, and none of it was good.
And there was also, like, this isn't super public, but there was a lot of stuff, and we all know I'm not the biggest Scott Snyder fan, but there was a lot of stuff that Scott wanted to do for death metal that DC greenlit, and then as they started working on it, they pulled back and like, we're not going to do this. So he kind of got the rug pulled out from under him, and that sucks. And that was the point when they were like, whatever, just like, what do you want? We'll do it. And there's a lot of interviews with Greg Capullo where you can tell he like no fucks were given. He's like, oh, you think Lobo's cool? We're gonna have 20 Lobos in here. Oh, isn't it? And he's literally doing this in interviews, and you're like, yeah, this guy's pissed. Like, he's over it
because it was leading into 5G future state, whatever you want to call it. So they end up having to change the ending and create the whatever organization that was going to be watching the multiverses on the dark side of the moon that they never did anything with.
I can't even remember
that.
Now. Yeah, I tried to forget a lot of that. Look, all you guys saying death metal is good, I think you should go back and reread it. Mm-hmm. I think you were
Dark Knight's metal is fine. It's pretty good.
Especially Dark Knight's metal.
Death metal was no.
Yeah, the sequel Death Metal was terrible.
It was so bad.
Yeah, the first one's fine. The sequel was.
What do you mean? It was edgy and cool, like a dad.
Teenage like rock metal, but on a comic.
And a lot of people are talking about Convergence. I don't consider Convergence an event. That was strictly transitional. Like they knew they were going into Rebirth. They pulled all of their top talent off. They put other people on a 2-month like filler to get ahead for their relaunch,
like Night Terrors, that kind of thing. That's a blip.
Convergence gave us a little Superman mini with Jurgens and Lee Weeks.
They did. Yes.
It gets passed.
That was the best thing about it.
Jonathan Kent. There you go.
Yeah.
We got the real Superman back. It didn't.
Yeah, that was sick. Fighting Shazam. Love that.
I feel like the Nightwing book was good too. And
yeah, that's because you're such a big Tim Seeley fan.
Was that Tim Seeley doing the Convergence?
Probably.
I don't know. Well, that was the one where it was him and Babs.
Point, wasn't he?
Huh?
He was the Nightwing guy at that point, wasn't he? Hadn't Time King already left and he was the one stuck there?
He did Nightwing. I don't think he wrote the Convergence 2 issue though.
Wow. Been a while.
Tim Seeley bought me a beer at a Wizard World, so he's always okay by me.
Hey, Tim Seeley's actually a chill guy to chat with, and he is very much the type of like, hey, let's grab a beer.
Gail Simone did the Convergence Nightwing book.
Oh wow, okay, well,
checks. I'm reading fucking X-Manhunt this week. She still can't write an event.
Oh god.
I saw that she's still trying to get Moonbeam over with Wolverine calling Rogue Moonbeam like as a nickname. She's still trying to make that happen.
Sully, did you read the first 3 chapters of X-Manhunt this week?
I did, and as shitty comics go, it wasn't all that shitty. I thought that the setup was basic, simple, and believable. Professor X has a distress call from his daughter, Lilandra's daughter.
You believe that,
or does he? Exactly. Exactly. So, but it's like that's a simple motivation for him to break out of a prison that he could have broken out at any time. You know,
he couldn't because what's her face broke him out for no reason. The Hag.
Yeah. Because
did you read
reasons.
the NYX? Did it feel like the same story to you?
The NYX one was okay. You know, I like Mojo.
It was a completely different fucking story. Like he leaves the first book and he's having all these fucking hallucinations. He gets to the second book and he's in a business suit.
Right.
I was like, what is going on here? I didn't even get to the Storm book. It sucked. Storm
book's really pretty, to be honest with you. The art in that is really good. But you know, it's the strongest issue of the series so far. It's but it's been a weak series, so I'm not really giving it, all props. No, but the first 3 parts of X-Men Hunt, they're all right. They're mid. I wouldn't buy it, but there's been worse.
So what do you think was the last good Marvel event? I still think it's House of X Powers of 10. I think the last really good DC event is Blackest Night.
Oh, I know the last great Marvel event. It would have been the Messiah trilogy.
So you're fully disavowing House of X Powers of 10 because of Krakoan era?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a perfectly fine story.
What about Gore the God Butcher? That was kind of an event in Thor.
No, it wasn't like a line-wide event though.
It wasn't a bit. At least the Messiah trilogy was a line-wide event across the X line. I'd say probably Messiah Complex was probably the last great one.
The last one that I didn't hate was Original Sin, but only the Original Sin books themselves, not necessarily the tie-ins.
Oh God, I hated that.
Yeah, see, I didn't mind it. I liked kind of like the mystery of what was happening and who killed the Watcher, and I like the fact that they brought in the orb. Anytime you bring in some Mort and make him, a big deal, I'm kind of like, oh, cool. So there's a lot of things there that I liked. But God, I think that was the last one. That was the last one that I didn't hate.
The last time I heard, I love the term Mort. I haven't heard that since the fucking Wizard days.
Yeah, Mort of the Month.
Mort of the Month.
Sully, what was your last great event? Was it Gang War? I know you're a big fan.
That's I like Dark Reign a lot. I like the Dark Avengers. I thought that was an interesting time for Marvel Comics. Like, what happens when the bad guys win? And then you have Norman's, Hammer team of fake Avengers. And I really dug the hell out of that. I love Moonstone's Miss Marvel outfit. She's adorable in that.
There's a figure of that out right now. Sally.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I love Bullseye as Hawkeye. That was fun. I love Dark Wolverine. That was
Venom as Spider-Man.
And they're drugging him up so he can help keep him his form, and it barely works. And then Sentry, they have Bob, and that leads into ripping Ares in half by the end of Siege.
And Carnage.
That's also part of how they're destroying events, is because every event leads into the next event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bendis destroyed events, as far as I'm concerned.
Bendis destroyed events. It wasn't just an event; it was a person.
Yeah. His last several years, he just was a wrecking ball to everything that was good about comics.
Yeah, he broke Superman for several years. Took him a while to rebound, but like the structure and concept of events, that you have the event, then you have the fallout and realize how everything has changed. And nothing would ever be the same again. Then you set up the next event. His event would set up the next event, and you would never get the fallout. And nothing ever mattered.
Mm-hmm. The promise.
And now they don't even. Now Marvel Comics at the end of an event will actually tie everything up and undo it, and then that'll be the ending.
Yeah,
the cosmic being will take it back.
That you didn't even really. None of it actually even ever happened.
Yeah. All right. Josh, what do you think is the last great event?
You know what? I think I'm actually going to agree with you. I think the last good event was House of X Powers of 10, because that's the last time I can remember just a lot of general excitement about something going on. And then the fact that they fumbled it so hard coming out of it with Hickman still involved, that should almost be studied. Like, I would understand if they fumbled it that bad and Hickman wasn't there, but the fact that he was there is wild. I'm also thinking back, like a lot of people don't talk about this, but the Darkseid War at the end of the New 52 is an excellent Justice League
good final hurrah for New 52 Justice League.
Oh man, it just they went balls to the wall blockbuster with that, and Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok, freaking really good.
Yeah.
So you're agreeing with that one, Dylan?
I really like Darkseid. I mean, I'm a big Doomsday Clock fan. As much as we talked about how everything surrounding it messed everything up, the story itself in a bubble. I love Doomsday Clock. Like, I was going to my comic shop the second that book came out. I was so excited. Every time a new issue came out, I was like, can't wait to see what happens. I was avoiding Twitter. Doomsday Clock was the last time I was really invested in an event, and I loved what was going on.
And it was always so delayed that you had to go back and read the previous 2 issues just to know what was going on.
Yeah.
It's almost like, Dylan, it's almost like Jeff Johns understands these characters and what can elevate them. I mean, what?
I know, it's crazy. Imagine you have Scott Snyder, Bendis, and Jeff Johns. Who are you choosing out of those three?
Who's
really a hard choice there.
Who are you putting your money on?
10 years earlier, it's Bendis without a doubt. But that's 10 years earlier.
I still disagree. I still take Jeff Johns all day.
I still take Jeff Johns. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, Darkseid War is one that, like Josh was saying, not brought up enough. It was a good last hurrah for that New 52 Justice League. It was really cool. Jason Fabok was killing it.
I mean, Forever Evil was good too. I mean, in my humble opinion,
I like Rook Exodus to come back, dude. It's gonna be tight. You read Rook Exodus, right, Dylan?
Yeah, Rook Exodus is great. Yeah, I'm glad they're doing the delay though, so that way we keep Jason Fabok the whole time, because those Geiger issues without Gary Frank are a little rough. So
yeah,
well,
I wish
some
they
of the
would have.
stuff isn't bad.
Yeah, I wish they would have just released Rook on like a bi-monthly schedule. I think anytime you take multiple months off, you run the risk of losing your audience. So
yeah,
well, I mean, they're not doing a good job with marketing. So I mean,
they're really not.
Bi-monthly. You're right, Josh. Bi-monthly wouldn't have hurt them because they're not really marketing anything anyway. Like, that's the one big failing of Ghost Machine, is that I know retailers who don't really know that much about it.
Yeah,
which is sad.
And honestly, in the past 2 weeks, I've seen some really good advertisements from Image Comics. If you're following Image Comics on Twitter X, you've been seeing some really clever, some ads, like old-fashioned magazine ads, almost like they're just comics, and then someone's going, no, they're not just comics.
That's not a good ad, Sully. That's not a good ad.
I love that ad because it's about
I don't think that one really resonates with people that aren't reading comic books.
Right. Yeah. I think
Comics is very good at preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But there's no outreach beyond the people that are still sticking around.
And
that won't even get a lapsed reader back, that ad.
Right. I was gonna say, I think Image Ghost Machine really should have leaned heavily into marketing with their trades coming out, because they're all hitting right now. And that could have done them a lot of good. I don't know.
They're all pretty darn good too. I'm really enjoying Redcoat. Geiger's good.
Yeah. Well,
I
they
think
have an event.
What I'm saying is, we do more marketing for Ghost Machine on this show.
Yeah.
We do more marketing for them than they seem to do for themselves.
Right.
My LCS is so desperate to try to get people to buy something other than the big two that, like, whatever publishers out there, they have individual standees, like, before you enter the comic section of, like, look at this. They have a whole Ghost Machine thing. They unfortunately have a distillery thing, which, but anyway.
Hey, is Distillery still sticking with Diamond? Because they were the first ones that coming out and they were like, we're sticking with Diamond, in another brilliant decision from Distillery. We're going to be right here till the end with Diamond. We're riding this train. They had to walk that back yet?
I don't know yet.
It will
soon. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I wish comic books would be awesome, but they are way too bloated. They don't really ever lead anywhere to anything definitive or really interesting a lot of times anymore. So it's hard to get really bought into them, unfortunately. That's kind of the way it is. But every once in a while, we'll get a good one. Let's hear for the peeps. Kyle says, I want to do an X-Men versus Godzilla Monsterverse version. Imagine him fighting an army of Sentinels.
Hear me out, Callum. What if instead Godzilla had to fight a giant Trump?
Yeah.
The Trump Sentinel?
And now just Trump, just a giant Trump.
A Sentinel with a hairpiece?
I was about to say, Wes, I could totally see someone at Marvel doing a Trump Sentinel and having like the crazy ass hairpiece.
Yeah, no, that'll definitely happen.
It would be a Trump MODOK Sentinel.
Yeah.
Stop giving him ideas.
I know.
So, Colin, if you really are into Godzilla fighting all kinds of things, obviously you have the Godzilla versus the Marvel Hero one-shots, but IDW is doing like 3 different Godzilla books a week, it seems like right now, with there's like a Godzilla Heist, Godzilla Skate or Die, like Mothra, Queen of Monsters. There's all kinds of stuff out there. The Godzilla Heist not as cool as it sounded like it should have been. I did.
Unfortunately, by IDW, so they're
the Heather Rontos deal there. Nerd says, I think the events to kill events is Crisis on Infinite Earths. Ever since that event, Constant Crisis as a get out of jail free card, and then they write themselves in a corner in comics abuse of the multiverses.
I'd say that's a reasonable.
The original
opinion.
sin was doing it. I understand the concept.
Yeah.
And now the problem was Final Crisis. When they came back and did Final Crisis, with Morrison and them, 2006, 2005, something like that. That I'd say that is real close. The fact that they revisited it.
And then it wasn't the Final Crisis after all.
Yes. And then it was only the midpoint crisis towards 50. And then
the midlife crisis.
It became the midlife crisis.
I mean, that's everything that's Heroes in Crisis was basically midlife crisis.
Yeah, midlife crisis.
Help Tom King with his midlife crisis by buying his book that's his therapy.
Because you look, DC suffered the exact same thing with Crisis that Marvel does with relaunches, which is every time they do it, there's a shorter and shorter gap between that and the next one. It's an acceleration of crises at DC because it was 50 years for the first one, 45, something like that, then 20 some for the second one, and we're down to 8 months.
Yeah. But Crisis on Infinite Earths is almost perfect. All the lead up to it is worth reading. It's all relevant to the story. That's like the blueprint of how to do an event.
Yeah, it's amazing art. I mean, geez, all that George Perez art, that's wonderful.
And then you don't immediately make it follow into another one the next year. Like it was years before these things used to be further out.
But then they had Legends right after that. Then they had Millennium, and those were decent events, I think. I was there for that. That was like in middle school. That was every week.
That's the first big line-wide event. I know before that they had like a Defenders versus Avengers, right? It was like the first big event, crossover type thing that Marvel did. I think so.
Don't remember that.
What Marvel Avengers?
I remember X-Men versus Fantastic Four.
No, Avengers versus Defenders. We're talking about like the 70s. Maybe the 60s even.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier.
But it
was very rare.
But even that, you had already done Avengers versus X-Men in X-Men number 9.
Yeah. And you already had the Fantastic Four wedding with everybody in there.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is Crisis on Infinite Earths, is that the original sin, Dylan? Do you think we should keep it?
Obviously, we should keep it. It's great. But yeah, it caused all the woes we have now. But you can't really blame blame Wolfman and Perez for that.
No, you can't. This is where we get into a lot of these things. Like, hey,
consequences.
Morrison's X-Men was fine, except for the fact that it ruined X-Men in the long term. Civil War was fine. It was good, except for it ruined the Marvel event.
Watchmen is a great movie, or I'm sorry, a great comic book, but the unintended consequences of people wanting to deconstruct all heroes ended up ultimately being negative.
Yes, exactly. That's the problem.
God Loves Man Kills is a seminal moment for X-Men until it became the blueprint of what X-Men could be.
100%. Gwen dying. Everything is about trying to capture lightning in a bottle again for these people, and they don't actually look for new lightning.
That's the thing.
That's
Yoshi
hard,
says,
Doc.
I've been
Writing
seeing
is
this on
hard.
social medias. Think we can all agree Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man are characters locked to the Mount Rushmore as superheroes. Who would be the fourth? Put good arguments for Wonder Woman, Wolverine, and Cap. For me, I'm leaning towards Wonder Woman, only popular female superhero that is largely liked by both men and women. Soon to change after, though, because, Tom King. But so this was an interesting one, Doc, because I think within the cultural zeitgeist, Wonder Woman probably would be there. But if you actually look at somebody that moves the needle and people buy, she clearly isn't even eligible. It's Wolverine or maybe Hulk.
Yeah. So from this has been always the interesting dichotomy of Wonder Woman. While she matters and she's culturally relevant in a way that a lot of other characters can't even ever hope to achieve, she's never sold for shit.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And as a result, you have to make the determination. Is it just mattering, or does sales have to factor in? Because she is at least 2 steps ahead of Wolverine for the mattering, side of the equation. But she's at least 5 steps behind him on the selling and being a commercially viable character. I think that the solution to this is you have a Mount Rushmore with only 3 heads. Or honestly, you go outside and you go to something like Archie.
Or Dogman.
The Shadow. Dick Tracy.
I don't know if you go to the Shadow or Dick Tracy, because they were very, very much just products of their time, and they don't.
Richie Rich was dominant in the comic book sphere for 20 years, Doc.
Well, there's a reason why my fucking spinner rack behind me is Archie, Richie, Spider-Man, and Superman. Archie and Richie Rich are the other 2 on there was Spider-Man and Superman, because they sold fucking comics on a
59 titles over a 20-year period. Richie Rich.
I know. You could argue Archie, you could argue Richie. I mean, I don't know if now you have to bump,
but
one
they're
of them
not
off
superheroes. And
Batman.
it does say superheroes.
Yeah, for a superhero Mount Rushmore. Honestly, I think
you got to put Deku in there, Aaron. You got to throw a little manga in there.
No, let's come on, guys. Let's put Carol Danvers on there. She's the most popular character
bigots.
ever.
We need Storm or nobody.
You know who?
No, you know what? Let's just here's the Mount Rushmore. If we want to do it right, it's Superman, it's Batman, it's Spider-Man, and then it's just Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Well, you know who actually probably does fit there? It's an off the board choice, but accomplishes both. The Hulk.
Yeah, I think the Hulk, because the Hulk maintains his popularity. You could make the case that we wouldn't have Wolverine if it weren't for the Hulk. So
his importance to the cultural zeitgeist. He
always
well
sells.
known. Yeah,
mm-hmm. He had the best TV show for like 60 years.
Yeah,
till Daredevil.
Yeah, so
his action figures are always in demand. Kids always want a Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I would honestly, as much as it would pain me to say that Wolverine, while he really matters, I think the Hulk matters more culturally, almost as much as Wonder Woman, and sells better than Wonder Woman.
Yeah. What do you think, Dylan? We need a Zoomer perspective. What do you think is the number 4?
If you guys are doing like your outside DC and Marvel stuff, like talking about cheating because it's not one character, but TMNT like would be on there because they're huge. They always sell. They're in the cultural zeitgeist, but it's not one character.
They're evergreen.
Yeah,
evergreen. Yeah, put the TMNT up there. Put all 4.
Yeah.
But see, that's where I think if you're gonna say team versus a character, X-Men beats out by far anything.
True.
You know, I mean,
therefore, you don't do the whole TMNT. You just put Raphael because he's the best turtle.
I agree.
Michelangelo.
Oh God,
Leonardo.
Listen, you fucking
Wrap
pizza
up there.
eating stoner. Get in real life, Doc. Responsibility. Grow up.
Fuck that. Pizza.
Raphael's easily the best turtle. It's not even close.
Leonardo is the leader in blue. He does anything he can to get his news.
Michelangelo has the coolest weapon. The nunchuck beats everything.
What?
It is definitely the coolest
How's
weapon.
that
It's cool, but
It's
rude.
fucking useless.
Michelangelo is a party dude.
It's fucking useless, but it's cool. It's the coolest visually.
You know, Sully's a Michelangelo guy.
No, Sully's going to come in with the dark horse. He's a Donatello guy.
I'm a Raphael. I'm an only child, so I'm kind of a loner. I love my brothers and everything, but I'm a little angry and I'm a little bit of a loner. Yeah, but you know.
I'm about to make Doc go into a conniption, but
Splinter.
no. Honestly, if we were gonna have to put a Mount Rushmore up there, I almost feel like you need to take the main character from One Piece. Was it Monkey D. Luffy?
Luffy? Yeah.
Luffy,
The
whatever.
hat?
Yeah. I think that's
Luffy or Luffy? I think it's Luffy. Luffy?
I don't fucking know. I don't read.
Subhuman 84 in the chat says Metalhead is the best turtle.
Metalhead is completely derivative. It's
We
the
can put
Jenica
Darkwing.
of the fucking
Jenica.
90s, dude.
Well,
No, don't even
done?
put Metalhead in the Jenica. Oh, come on.
Oh man, that was
Guys,
fun.
it's Kamala Khan, okay? And when we say
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
I almost said that earlier, and then I pivoted to
Yeah.
doing
He's
Kelly
right.
on it because I thought it would create more rage.
She's going back in time and implanting herself in the past. So she'll already be
Right.
on.
I'll
Mount
go with
Rushmore.
Hulk.
and
What
when
about
we
Goku?
say Spider-Man, we know we mean Miles Morales, and since we mentioned Wolverine, it's Laura. Come
yeah,
on.
the best Wolverine.
Yeah.
No, what about Goku, guys?
Well, when we say superheroes, I think we presume the American comic books. You know.
Yeah, but we were talking about Luffy. Luffy was in the conversation briefly, so
I mean, we said
do we
Archie
wanna-
too, like
Mhm.
you know.
Archie
Do we
got
want to
more, probably got more
consider
people into
Japanese
American
emperors
comics.
and prime ministers for a
What
spot on the Mount
Vegeta?
Rushmore?
Oh, you can always just go with Stan.
I was gonna say that
As the
earlier.
fourth.
Stan Lee, just
But if you put Stan up there, you got
That's
Kirby.
interesting because he's iconic. All
Or
you need
Jack.
is
You
the
want
mustache
Stan or
and
you want
glasses.
Jack?
You know.
Yeah,
I'd probably put Kirby before Stan, but
but I think again,
more
the
people know Stan.
workhorse,
that's
the
true.
workhorse versus the one that everybody knows.
Mouthpiece.
That's true.
Just another great example that we will never agree on anything. Fucking nerds.
And now-
you can never
and
reach
now-
a consensus about shit.
And now we all secretly resent each other.
Yeah, this is fucking Doc. Michelangelo's better than Raphael's.
Yeah, and I'm
Yep.
sucks. Ugh.
Sleeve it, Dakel. Events died when they stopped being stories examining what it meant to be a hero, like Crisis, Blackest Night, Secret Wars, Maximum Carnage. Now they're just gimmicks. What if Doom took over? What if vampires happened? Evil Batman multiverse.
Yeah,
I think that was the pitch for Blood Hunt. Was just what if vampires happened, guys?
Dude, vampires.
Not
You
even
got
happen.
Blade.
What if vampires?
Yeah.
We're doing this all to push over. We're gonna put Blade's daughter over. This is what.
Oh yeah.
That's what everybody wants.
I do think that's a little out of it. It's just a gimmick or a concept.
It's just a
Like, what is
if.
the event rather than what are we exploring here? What's going to be the outcome? Why do we think the outcome would be exciting for readers to look at the universe in a new way that would cause exciting changes that would make you be able to do
Right.
something new with the character, which
Like,
is ultimately what an event should do, right?
Yeah, look at Jeff Johns. Let's go back to Infinite Crisis in the last issue. Superboy Prime versus Superman and Earth 2 Superman. I mean, that was everything. It's about your actions and what you do and who you are. And he's literally beating this into Superboy Prime after he kills Earth 2 Superman. I love that ending. That was really good. That was moving.
I think he's definitely onto something, Dylan. I think I think they just do events because it's time for an event to happen, and there's no purpose anymore. Is probably the big thing.
Well,
right?
there's always the secondary purpose of how do we make this about Trump?
Well, and variant covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, you've had editors openly say, "Oh, we're comping an event, so we have to do an event."
Yeah.
And then they purposely try to match or do more tie-in titles. Like it's the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Nerd says Doc's idea was cool. I'm going to steal it. Based on his idea, if I were writing Civil War's End would launch another event called Days of Anarchy, then we could do the Summer of Love, but on steroids.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, look, that is the natural consequence of somebody so openly defying you undermined all confidence in a body of authority. You destroy that authority.
But who goes Manson? Is it going to be Iron Man or is it going to be Cap? Does Cap go full Manson?
No, but you end up with like fucking Carnage running around doing his shit, and you end up with a cult of Carnage and all the other crazy bullshit. It would be insanity, and you would have had another 10 years of stories just on trying to put together a country.
Wolverine not wanting to be friends with nobody. Fuck all of you.
Smoking cigars again, too.
Well, then you end up with, okay, America falls. What happens? You end up with foreign invaders, everybody trying to stake claims. You end up with the Red
All
Skull.
the mutants move to Krakoa and say, this is our island.
Or they just take over fucking Manhattan. You have Magneto taking Manhattan again.
You call it Magneto takes Manhattan.
There we go. Mr. DC Comics. What killed comic book events, in my opinion, it was Marvel doing them back to back with no real thoughts into it. DC doing them for reboots and multiverse stories.
Yep. No thoughts,
Sounds
no
like
consequences.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, you had an event, and coming out of the event, you had like a good 2 years worth of story to explore. But they don't do that now. They just completely upend whatever their event is, the first issue out of it.
The fact that there's
you
still
think
vampires
about
running around in after Blood Hunt is just ridiculous. And that we're supposed
Batman
to
still doesn't trust Hal Jordan because he became Parallax.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good, and that's a nice story note that lasted. Yeah. Like, okay. I got my eye on you, Jordan.
What do you think, Sparrow? Should Batman trust Hal Jordan yet?
I mean, yeah, after a while, like, you got to build that back up. Plus, Batman is a smart man. He should be looking at the fact that Hal was corrupted by Parallax. It's not like Batman hasn't been corrupted by things. Batman's been on the smack twice now. He was on Venom and he was losing control of himself, and now he's doing it again. So, Batman of all people should have a little bit of empathy for people who aren't him, because he's screwed up so many times and he's so perfect.
You're right. He is a fucking hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
He also created failsafe.
Yeah. Created failsafe.
Tower of Babel
has a secret secondary personality that's more deadly than he is, just in case.
Yeah.
Batman.
World's greatest detective, but didn't know his sidekick was gay.
Hi.
HH and the folks at Sigma Comics. Greetings from Emerald City Comic Con. Big news all the way. Keep it tuned to Think Critical for the latest and greatest from the best in the biz now and always.
Nice.
Absolutely. I have been told what these big news are, and it's going to be big. People are going to enjoy it. It's going to be cool.
Me too.
Awesome. Good to see you, HH.
So would you suggest people go to Emerald City Comic Con, Dylan? Is it a good show? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I like it. I have a good time. It's fun. It is sad seeing less and less comic booths and just more Funko Pop booths, but I'm still having a good time.
It's more of a pop culture convention than comic convention now.
Yeah. There's still some booths out there that are good. You can get some comics. I've already bought a bunch of comics, but yeah, it's shrinking.
Anything cool? What'd you get?
I got a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of Jonah Hex. I got some Sergeant Rock. I got some Power Man Iron Fist. I got some G.I. Joe. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff. So
very nice. Did you see Kyle Higgins? I know you like to run into him at Emerald City.
He's got a booth there. Yeah, I haven't run into him yet, but yeah, he's there like every year.
What about Fraction and Kelly Sue? Are they there?
Nope.
No.
Are you excited for Fraction on Batman?
tentatively, because I have liked some stuff that he's done, but I feel like he's too silly for Batman, and so I don't think he'll do too good. But I have enjoyed stuff from Matt Fraction, so I'm like, maybe he could do good, but I don't have my hopes up.
Josh swears by his fucking Jimmy Olsen comedy book.
But it's meant to be silly. And to be fair, I like the Jimmy Olsen comics from like the 60s because they're so outrageous. Like they are just so out there. So I'm not saying it's like top tier. Just it's fun.
Slee McDaco, the last event I loved was Dark Side War. It's the only thing Justice League in the New 52 that felt like Justice League.
Fair.
Oh.
Maybe it's Dark Side War. Maybe that's the one everyone should be going back and reading.
It's good.
It is.
I just remember the big revelation, in the whatever chair about the three Jokers.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Obviously,
you got
setting up that.
Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor, and then you got Darkseid's daughter and
Grail. Yeah.
Man, they set up a lot of stuff in that Rebirth issue. Where you had the button, and they're going to set up the introduction to the Watchmen universe. Obviously, the three Jokers. You had Doomsday Clock right around the corner, and they just shit it all away for nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. McLeod 54. The Convergence and Secret Wars combo killed the shop I worked at. People treated them as jumping off points.
Yep.
Yeah.
2015. A year that will live in infamy.
And we said that was going to happen. We were predicting that at the time.
We also can't forget the whole DCU period that ran for like 6 to 12 months prior to Convergence, because that was like the shit of the shit that we're seeing today. I was just like, come on.
Yeah. It was, how gay can you make our comics?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, DC always copies Marvel in their dumb ideas.
Yep.
Marvel never copied DC's great idea with Rebirth.
No,
but DC's going to go down the all different.
They kind of took a half-assed attempt at it when they went to Legacy.
Yep.
And it was the most half-assed attempt at copying Rebirth that you could have imagined. And by the time it got to
it was all about elevating the new hero.
Yeah. They took all the wrong lessons.
Yes. Weird. King KDI says marketing teams at both corporate comics are run by C and D list quality staff, which is the same for editorial staff, which is the main issue.
Yeah, if you look, this is the same reason why I remember when Daniel Cherry came to DC and everybody's like, "Oh, it's this guy that worked at the NBA and the NHL and Adidas and Kanye." I'm like, if he was any fucking good, he wouldn't be in comics.
If he wasn't good, Yeezy wouldn't have fucking signed it. What are you talking about, son? Yeezy's, he's a billionaire, especially with Adidas.
You realize he's a man selling an actual swastika t-shirt right now, right?
Well, he has seemed to have lost his mind.
He's always had a lost mind. He got lucky.
I thought
Adidas.
He was promoting porn or something.
He did that a couple of weeks. That was last week, after and before the swastika t-shirt. But no,
you guys realize that Kanye West is the closest thing we have to the Joker, right?
Yes.
He's reinventing himself every week and just becoming more terrible.
Yes, but here's the thing. Look, if you were any good at marketing, if you were any good at, corporate strategy, or if you were any good at these things, if that's what you went to school for, you are making more money in literally any fucking industry than comics. So the only people that are left are the people that can't get jobs in any other industry, which means they're not very fucking good. The only way you ever have any chance is if you happen to have a comic geek that just happens to be good at those things.
Next up, Darkseid the Almighty. I wonder if he likes Darkseid. Darkseid War actually gave us a great female character in Grail. It's nice getting a new character that is interesting once in a blue moon. Oh, man, that was the thing that really pissed me off. Did you read that issue of Wonder Woman, Dylan?
No.
The whole time, fucking Sovereign is pumping up Grail that she's going to go out there and fight Wonder Woman one-on-one on the White House lawn. The entire issue, you read all this bullshit, at least you're going to get this good fight. She walks out, Cheetah jumps on her back, she's like, I got her. And she just walks in the White House. We didn't even get the fight. Can you believe that crap?
When
Yes!
written by Tom King, I can. Yeah, that sounds like Tom King.
I was not happy. But Grail is a good character. I like her.
Yeah, she's cool.
What do you think, Sparrow? Would you?
What, Grail?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, why not?
Not exactly human.
You know, I don't discriminate.
Human enough.
Humanoid.
She had all the right parts.
That's right.
What do you think, Josh? Is Grail a good character? You like her?
I really liked Grail, especially during Darkseid War. I think since then they've kind of pissed on her, but
Fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pissing on a character as soon as you hand him to Tom King.
Yes.
But nobody else is doing anything with her either. I know she has such a good design.
Such a good design. And if you hear Darkseid's daughter, you're automatically like, oh God, here we go. But you didn't have that. It was actually executed well. So
yeah,
maybe she'll get
Bird Gang. I'm sorry, she'll get a Fartacular.
Yeah, see, this is always this thing. You're like, nobody's using her, but then you're like, well, maybe that's a good thing.
Bird Gang says, I think it's important to note that Secret Empire actually made Marvel step back from doing annual line-wide events for a year.
I did a lot of
the reaction was not good.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed away. I didn't even read any of that.
I like that. Now we're all back in the time of Secret Empire. Like you transported us back, and we all got quiet and sad.
Yeah,
well, yeah. Because I'm just thinking about the page, Hail Hydra, Captain America, and you're like, oh, that must be bullshit. And it's like, nope.
I'm just thinking about the fact that that's still the real Captain America that's locked up somewhere, and the Captain America we have now is a cosmic cube recreation. So
I understand you got bad editorial, but even bad editorial should be able to sniff that one out and say no.
Editorial's asleep.
Thanks,
at the wheel,
Bird King. You just brought the whole show down. I'm kidding.
Sparrow, do you consider Secret Empire a bigger sin than Heroes in Crisis?
Me?
No, because at least they allowed that to sort of be undone. And when you had guys that were when you had Scott Lobdell going in and trying to undo Heroes in Crisis, that gets nerfed. Then you have Jeremy Adams going in and trying to undo Heroes in Crisis, and that gets nerfed, and that gets handed to Cy Spurrier, and now Flash is unreadable. The way that Captain America gets treated with zero respect by Marvel, and he gets handed to writers that are socialists and idiots all the time, and they just continue to drag down the character of Captain America.
Look at Dennis Camp, yeah.
But the actual what they do to Wally West as the Flash is like continual prison assault. So I think I think that what they do to Wally West is well, I mean, we can talk about Superman, who they literally did that to.
Yeah.
Story. Doc, did you lose your fucking mind on Secret Empire on the Hail Hydra moment? Actually, that wasn't in Secret Empire. That sets it up.
It was in the first issue of Nick Spencer's Captain America.
Yeah.
I bought that comic. I read it, threw it on the floor, and I never read another I haven't read another Captain America comic since. Because Captain America doesn't exist anymore. You have Captain Hydra, and you have a figment of Bucky's imagination. Those are what you have. Steve Rogers died. He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. Exactly. So why would I bother reading Captain America about an imaginary character?
So you're saying Sam Wilson is Captain America?
I'm saying there isn't a Captain America.
Guys, I don't think I like most comics anymore.
I don't.
Yeah.
You know what? I just finished. I finally had an opportunity to read Weapon X-Men #1. I really enjoyed that. It was fun.
Good. Yeah.
It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a fun book.
Really good too.
Huh?
Hulk's really good too. I mean, there's got to be one or two out there. I know it's really
I'd
hard.
say Aliens versus Avengers is better than Hulk.
that got better and better for each issue that went on. And that Esab Ribic art is pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And, that's honestly
looking Carol Danvers you're ever going to see. Her face
Yeah,
is ruined.
it's rough.
that story, like that and Alien Paradiso, those 20th Century Fox Aliens books, they're pretty gory. I mean, why not have a Red Band version of that for the X? Because you can then like have all the alien xenomorph gore you want.
You're pushing. You're trying to pimp out more interior variants.
No,
I think that's
really.
the answer.
Jesus.
Dion says Final Crisis was bad for DC in the long term. It only sold 110,000 units on average, and every other series except Green Lantern sold like shit after it. And I'll be honest, of the friends that I have, you are one of the very few that is willing to say that Final Crisis is good.
Me?
Yes.
Well, because I like Grant Morrison stories. I thought the J.G. Jones art for the first couple of issues was really good.
Fantastic.
And I was really into the tie-ins. I love the Fourth World stuff anyway. So this is Morrison doing Kirby. I love it. Like the time bullet kind of thing. Maybe that was a metaphor for his heart attack or his bad health at the time. Something like I was really engaged in that. I really liked it.
Did you read Grant Morrison's Green Lantern?
No, I didn't. It's
awful, but it looks amazing.
That wasn't that in like around the Heroes in Crisis era. So there's like 5 years of DC books I didn't read.
But I don't know. For me,
I don't even know what Will is, guys.
Exactly. Grant Morrison is either good or he's terrible, and there's nothing in between.
Yep. Final Crisis was one of the few events that had a good prelude, though, because you get more about Martian Manhunter's death, because it's kind of a footnote in the actual event, but the prelude's like, oh, you actually get some more of that. For most events, I feel like preludes are just throwaways.
I was kind of put off by like all of the denizens of Apocalypse being transformed, like just running around on big dogs and being like altered, and like I couldn't get into it.
I think that Morrison nailed something. The dissemination of anti-life, the anti-life equation through displays, your tablets, your smartphones. It was about this bad ideology being spread through social media. And he predates all this. This came, 2008? He called that miles away, man. I just thought that was really impressive.
Very nice. Federico De La Casa from Italy says, I had great hope for Empire because the Celestial Madonna Child is a story I was eager to read since the 70s, but it was just an excuse for a gay marriage.
That's true.
So Empire would have been the Dan Slott Fantastic Four Avengers book?
Yeah.
Was there X-Men in there too?
They did some crossover with the X-Men. Yeah, the X-Men but that was during Krakoa. So that was when they did the shit with the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
And the stupid fucking brood, where all of the dumb brood egg thing, where Brew became the king of the brood. All
Empire
that stuff was the tie-in to Empire.
Empire sold terribly too at least at my shops. They had there was one shop that had 0 pulls for it. They had a pretty good pull list, pretty good amount of pull list customers, and nobody had it on their pull list. So they would just order a couple for the shelf, and those didn't even sell out. People were just like, people were done with it. People were already kind of exhausted from Absolute Carnage and then King in Black. I think those came right before.
Yeah,
and
but then you had the COVID
so
shutdown, and this was like the first event post-COVID.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Oh, these 2 young Avengers that no one has ever cared about are the central focus." Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
No one has ever cared about Wicked or Hulkling. They just haven't. Not on any substantial sales scale.
No. Nerd says, do the Fantastic Four have any iconic stories? No one ever talks about them. It's always about other heroes. Is that why movies have such a hard time? That's crazy, because I think the Galactus trilogy is one of the 3 or 4 best comic stories of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. The entire first 100 issues of Fantastic Four, it introduced more characters and did set up more stories. But the thing is, most of them, other than like the Galactus trilogy, are 1 or 2 issue max, and they move on
Yeah.
to the next thing. It was a lot of one hit stories, but so there wasn't like a big story there. There's not a.
It was a continual. Fantastic Four was more episodical.
It was
than
it was serialized.
Mm-hmm.
But it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. For 100.
There is a reason that for the longest time it was the world's greatest comic magazine. Can't really claim that anymore, but
yeah, if you're looking for some great Fantastic Four, go read the Galactus trilogy. Blow your little mind.
Or even go read Walt Simonson's run on Fantastic Four. It's amazing, and nobody talks about that run.
Everybody always talks about John Byrne.
You know, I'll even say this: Mark Waid's Unthinkable story, amazing.
Yeah. What's the one where they go to the negative zone and this dude like steals Ben Grimm's body? They didn't know who he was, and then he ends up saving Reed, even though he was an imposter. Remember that?
I don't remember that.
That's a great one. That's good shit. Now, there's a lot of really, really great Fantastic Four style stories. Lee McDaniel is saying The Trial of Reed Richards. Oh, yeah, that's good too. Yeah, no, there's a lot of really good ones. There's a lot of really good runs of stories in Fantastic Four. There's a lot to draw on. It's amazing that they've never been able Paramount has a decent Fantastic Four too that no one ever talks about.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But the one thing about Fantastic Four I definitely don't like is the Council of Reeds.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Needs to go.
Yeah.
I liked Ultimate Fantastic Four because that gave us the Maker. And I love the Maker. He's a great bad guy.
He's all right.
He's overplayed.
Well, yeah, he became a little bit too central figure, but that's fine. I guess we've come to the end of the road. I guess we'll talk about some comic book recommendations before we sign off here, and I get ready to go have my surgery in the not too distant future. Be flying out in the morning. Hope everyone is doing well
today.
Huh?
I said you have some gall today.
Yes, I'll be gallless
tomorrow. Maybe not.
Monday.
Good luck,
is
man.
when it's
Good luck
actually going to happen. Dylan, are you recommending any comic books, or do you have anything coming up that people need to know about? Maybe you're going to be playing video games so people can watch it.
Yeah. So I got, like I said earlier, I got my Iron Fist video. Go check that out. And I'm going to be at Emerald City Comic-Con this weekend, so maybe I'll post some stuff about that. We'll see. And then I just got 2 comics for this week, which is JSA number 5. I enjoyed it. We got the main artist back, thankfully. And then Hyde Street number 4, which is probably my favorite issue of Hyde Street yet. I really liked it. It was really good.
You like the matinee monster?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I really liked his story. It was really sad, and I like what
the
he's
art
doing
is fantastic.
Oh, Ivan Reis is
next
amazing.
level.
Yeah.
But this is a rough week if you're looking for stuff to read.
Yeah, that's why.
There's a lot this week. There's a lot this week, but like almost all of it is trash.
Yeah. In fact, we won't even have a best of this week because there just wasn't enough comic books, and I got a few other things that I got to do. But you also have a podcast. Where can people find your podcast? It's you and your brother, right?
Yes, it's called Nerd Talk, and it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Podbean, it's on like everything.
Do you guys have like a schedule on that? Is like it weekly, monthly, or something?
We'll say monthly. we try to do it. Yeah, exactly. Like when there's stuff going on, we try to, because it's hard because my brother doesn't read comics, so it's like there's a show or a movie or something that comes out, and then sometimes I'll do solo episodes where I just like rant about some comic or something.
Oh, very nice. So be on the lookout for Nerd Talk on the Spotify's and Apples and all of your major podcast services.
Yeah.
And you got some real gems. You're still on the lookout for some more comic gems this weekend at Emerald City?
Yep. Today, mainly gonna, now I know Chris Kahn is there, and also I can't remember his name, but the artist
Jeremy
on
Adams.
No, yeah, I'll be looking for Jeremy Adams too, which I didn't know was there. I just checked his like socials, and he's posted like nothing about it, so I didn't even know he was there. Yeah, I just checked his Instagram. The only thing that I saw on Instagram about it was like he was at Bruce Lee's grave, which is like, oh, that's out here in Seattle, so it's like he's out here. But I didn't see anything about him at Emerald City Comic-Con, and like I said, it's not on the site either that he's there. So I don't know.
You're wrong. You're right. The thing that I saw was on Twitter, and he's talking about being at Terrific Con. I am so sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's actually there for anything.
My bad. I just remembered seeing him have like a promo that he was at a con. I forgot it was Terrific Con. My bad.
But yeah,
do not go to Connecticut just for that.
No place.
I'm not even going to that.
With the artist on Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn, which is the Jimmy Palmiotti book, is out here too. So I'm gonna meet him today and Chris Condon. So that's the plan for today, and then tomorrow buy more comics because that's when comics are cheaper. Last day of the con.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
Very nice. Carlitos Figueroa says it's disappointing that events are excessive and don't let runs like Astonishing X-Men have their own voice, even if it's not the best. That is like the worst thing is when you're trying to get into a book and it's just constantly interrupted by events because it's an important book.
That was
like
Kyle Higgins' Nightwing. That was Kyle Higgins' Nightwing. I loved it. That first arc was great. We got like a couple others that were good after, but it kept being like, hey, you know what Scott Snyder's doing on Batman? Court of Owls, Requiem, Death of the Family. You just got hit with every single tie-in that Scott Snyder was doing Batman. It really sucked because I enjoyed what Kyle Higgins was doing.
So much interference on that. Like we were talking with Kyle Higgins back when that was coming out, and then even that shift to move him to Chicago at the end, that was mandated by DC. Like it was just weird.
I think this week's NYX is technically not only a X Manhunt tie-in, but also a One World Under Doom tie-in. How fucking retarded is that?
For a book that was pre-canceled.
Yes, for a book that, but still, like, come on, man, just tell the story you want to tell. Not everything needs to be interrupted. I still remember that that sword book from Al Ewing before I realized just what a fraud he was. First 6 issues, it tied into 2 events. Like, how are you supposed to do anything with this?
And that, I think it only lasted 6, and then they rebooted it as X-Men Red.
Yeah.
I love when you look at the cast, like the featured characters listed for this issue of NYX. It's A-Hole, Miss Marvel, Professor X, Fauna, Lulu, Mojo, Prodigy, and Sobunar of the Depths. So really the only character there...
Mojo and Xavier.
Mojo and Xavier. The only characters that are worth a damn.
Yeah. You are right, Carlitos. Josh, are you recommending any books this week, or you got anything going on Popeye culture that people need to know about?
I mean, Hyde Street's probably the only book that I can think of. I haven't read JSA yet, so I don't know, but I've been kind of just iffy on that. As far as Popeye culture, we've got our top 5 comics of February coming up since I had no power this past Tuesday. And then we've got our Marvelous Monday episode for X-Men coming up, so keep an eye out for that. And then we'll have our comic book club book at the end of the month, which if you haven't checked out, I feel like that's my favorite series that we're doing as the comic book club. So go check out those videos. It's a lot of fun.
What's your comic book at the end of the month?
We're debating. There was some pissy attitudes about what we were gonna do, so we're switching it up. So
what were you gonna do?
Well, okay. We had to reschedule stuff. So originally we were going to do the Cap Falcon because it was going to line leading into the Cap Falcon movie coming out. And then I was going to do Daredevil Yellow. But people were like, well, we just did a book with Jeff Loeb. And so we'll see. We might do Daredevil Born Again, but then people are going to say we just did Batman Year One, which is also Frank Miller and Mazzucchelli. And we'll figure it out.
You should do Sleeper, Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I think it's their first book together.
So we rotate each month with DC Marvel Indie, DC Marvel Indie, and this month's a Marvel book. So that's why we're trying to figure out the Marvel situation.
You guys should read Trouble.
Oh, you know what? We really should at some point. We really should.
I might actually come on the show for that.
Yeah. But we've had a
maybe
run.
How about this Sinestro 4 War? Maybe.
Possibly. We'll see. So,
but it's horny Aunt May.
I know.
Well, there you go.
Or Marvel.
Just call a book Horny Aunt May.
Horny. We're covering Horny Aunt May.
Waka waka.
Sully.
Yes, sir.
You were able to find far more desirable books in this terrible week than I was able to. What did you love?
Well, first of all, I'm usually big on saying, hey, here's my bag of comic books from my local comic book shop, which I go to once a week, every new comic book day. So guess what happened this new comic book day? I got 0 comics from my pull list. There was nothing that I bought this week. I showed up. I was like, hey, I'll get my pull list. He was like, oh, you got nothing in the box this week. I'm like, and I went to the shelves to double check that. And I'm like, yeah, it's nothing I want to spend my money on this week. So, but I did read a bunch of Marvel comics, And Ultimates number 10 is progressive trash. It's a headache, a nightmare. But Spider-Boy 17 was okay. There was me and Jim did a podcast and spoke for an hour about Star Wars Jedi Knights, which is set in the prequel era. So it's like say like a 14-year-old Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you have Qui-Gon and you have all the Jedi, and it was written by Mark Guggenheim, and it was actually, it was okay. And then there was the Web of the Spider-Verse, New Blood number 1. There's a really good vampire story in that one, and this multiverse of the Spider-Verse thing. So you get Count Parker facing off against Mary Jane Van Helsing, but it had some really good line work. Like I like the art in it. It was very macabre. So
it's a what if.
Kinda, yeah. So yeah, you got 2 thumbs up for that one. And so yeah, it was a light week for me this week. I have no comics that I bought this week. Yeah, that's
which
rare.
one of the 10 covers on Jedi Knights number 1 interested you?
The wraparound, the A cover.
Every book has like 10 covers now.
It does. I mean, I was Darkwing Duck this number 1 this week. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up, but it has literally 25 different covers, variant covers from the Virgin black and white foils.
Gibblesmith ain't gonna put any asses in seats. You got to sell something.
Exactly.
I mean, it says in the description, renowned writer Daniel Kibblesmith.
Renowned, yeah.
I'm curious. I'm actually curious about. I'm actually curious to see what. Is infamy, the same thing as being renowned? I'm actually curious to see what he does with the book. I mean, I for Darkwing Duck fans, for their sakes, I hope it's good.
Like rooting for the character, rooting for the property. Like you want, even though you're not writing it, you want it to be good.
And Tad Stones is doing the covers on it, so that alone is worth looking into. But yeah.
25 different Dynamite covers. Wow! Woe to you, completist! Woe to you!
They just cut their rates too. Like they just, because of the whole Diamond debacle, they're having to cut their rates. My team on let's put it this way: I spend more per page on Kneel Before Doomface than Dynamite spends on most of their books now.
Very crazy. Aaron, are you going to recommend any books this week? You got anything going on?
I'm going to recommend Hyde Street, and then I'm going to say, if you guys haven't jumped into G.I. Joe yet, G.I. Joe number 1 has some reprint covers that are really nice. There's a nice Baroness cover out there. There's some Howard Destro and covers, and I think there's there's some reprints of number 1 that you can go in and pick up pretty cheap and jump in on the Energon Universe stuff. So I'm going to recommend that. I'm going to recommend one from a few weeks ago. I wasn't on the show to recommend it, but V. Ken Marion, Drawn Power Lords. Even if you don't remember the Power Lords toy line, and why would you? Even if you're of that age, because it came and went pretty quickly. It is a fun book with fantastic art by V, so I recommend checking that out. That's from a few weeks ago. Number 2 should be out anytime now. And then just in the indie space, you can still go get Kneel Before Doomface. Thank you to the person who during this stream went and pledged. Late pledge option. So we got another backer up to 535 now. So you guys are still killing it. We're getting close to the end, and we're going to be doing our big push, to get the numbers up as much as possible before we go to print. So thank you guys so much.
Very nice. You got any big appearances this week?
Nah, I mean, Josh is doing a show that I won't be on, so maybe I'll hit up Jeff and see if he needs me on World Class Bullshitters this week.
Oh yeah, he was showing some pictures of like $2.50 action figures from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, like wow. I just got I just got a big box too. We confused somebody online because I said, "Oh my, I'm so glad I subscribed to DocBox," and I took a picture of this box from Ollie's that Doc had sent me, and somebody was like, "What's DocBox? I've never heard of it." And we had to explain that like I was making a joke that because. He sent me a box of
That's
stuff.
Brilliant.
And he threw in a hardcover of Justice League by Jim Lee from the New 52. This Absolute edition that was only $25 at Ollie's.
What a fucking mensch!
I know. Doc is a good guy. He's going to be remembered in heaven for this.
You got any books to recommend, Doc?
I am not recommending. Well, I am going to recommend that people go and check out our review of Uncanny damn it, hit the wrong button. Uncanny X-Men 11. It was our review for Worst of the Week. Is it the worst comic? No. Is it the worst this week? I don't know. I didn't read any other comics. Was it a bad comic? Yes. Yes, it was. So instead, we are going to go with Captain America, Brubaker. This is the first appearance of the Winter Soldier. So there's a variant of this though. But yeah, this one, I think it's the first appearance of the Winter Soldier. And yeah, so from Captain America, this would have been the volume 3 or 4. What was it? 2004, 2005? Does that sound about right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we will go with, all right, since Daredevil came out this week, I only watched the first episode. I didn't watch the second one yet. We will go with, this is the Brubaker era of, so this is picking up right after Bendis leaves Daredevil. This is the Brubaker run that had like the Devil in Cell Block D and another, some more stuff after Bendis's run is up. And it actually continued on for a good while. Brubaker, again, more Ed Brubaker, because I feel like that's what this needs. And but I love this one just because of the Michael Turner variant for issue 100. Rest in peace, sir. And then we will go with Uncanny X-Men 49, first appearance of Polaris. So, and it's also the last issue before Jim Steranko redesigns the X-Men logo to the classic one, the one with the one that they've used pretty much ever since, and we get away from the original one with the kind of blocky letters to the 3D logo. And since we're talking about toys, we will also go with one that I found. I got this fucking for like $6. I found it online. I think it was the last one that this retailer had, but it's Roller Skate Iron Man.
Nice. Yes,
it's rollers. He's got his roller skates that come with
for
it.
The win.
And it's got the lenticular hologram for the thingy. The shield.
Tony Stark. It's Tony Stark though. Wasn't during Secret Wars? Wasn't Iron Man?
It would have been Rhodey. Yeah, it was. Also, if you turn this at just the wrong angle, he turns into Iron Hitler. And it looks really weird.
Don't give Dennis Camp ideas.
Steve will really want to punch him now.
I know.
Steve will gleefully want to kill him because Steve loves murder.
Yes, Steve loves murdering Nazis. But no, I got this for like $6. I think it was the last one that this guy had. So that's it.
All right, Doc. I investigated. It was 2004, and it was volume 6. Okay,
volume 6. Holy shit! I didn't realize it was that high.
Captain America had a number one. I did the research here. Go back. It's not going back, is it?
The Brubaker.
Is this going to do it for me? 1941 had a number one. 1968 had a number one. 96 had a number one. 98, 2002, and then 2004. You almost get 100 issues out of Brubaker. At least what he started.
Yeah.
Cullen Bunn ends it though, unfortunately.
No, it's only volume 5. They got it wrong because they're doing the Captain America that was Tales of Suspense as a different series. It's not. It got renumbered. So,
all right, well, there you go. It's volume 5.
Yep.
Very nice. I hope everyone has a great week. I will be going on the knife in the not too distant future. Appreciate all the thoughts and prayers and the good vibes that you've been sending me. And hopefully everyone has a great time. And I'll be back on Wednesday and I'll be back to making stuff. But until then, I am signing out. And,